every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus and present in Iowa, 3+ legs, minimum $1 bet required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max bonus $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
J-Tech Construction reminds you that this time of year, your home's energy efficiency is under tension. Don't let your windows cost you by raising your energy bills this winter. J-Tech Construction will come out and provide you with a free estimate on upgrading your windows and keeping your energy costs down. They have custom-made, energy-efficient windows that keep the outside out with the professional installation you would expect. Contact the official exterior and solar experts of the Huskers. J-Tech Construction, your exteriorexperts.com.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover.
It just crossed him over. Danced him.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Time for the crossover. John and Josh are not here. Weird.
Not. Whoa.
It's weird.
There's an echo there from John.
Yeah, there was an echo. What was that?
We're off to a great start.
I hear
it's
you guys
gone.
Fine in normal.
All right, now the echo's gone.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it didn't sound fine on our end, but it now sounds good.
Are we on a
delay? Shouldn't be. Oh, yeah, John, you should have seen it on Monday. Jack's internet is so bad. He ended up being like 2 seconds behind me at some points. Very cool. Very cool. Very normal.
Yeah. Super cool.
Yeah. Bad times.
Not good. Not optimal, especially on a day like this.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
So what's the situation in Lincoln, John? It's not snowing
ice.
At all?
It's ice.
It's icing.
Oh.
Yeah, it's ice. It's all ice.
Which is worse, actually.
Yeah, it is, actually. And I'm looking outside right now, and if I don't have some major tree branch death and destruction by the end of this, I will be stunned because I can see one branch literally touching the ground right now.
Oh, no.
Because, well, I got these stupid oak trees that refuse to shed their leaves like a normal tree.
Damn you, oak trees.
And they're still, I bet there's still about 50% of their normal leaves on it. And so it just weighs. Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen a leaf in years.
These are the two dumbest trees. I hate these trees. They're the worst trees. Because, when most people are done, I mean, I'm looking outside right now. I've got leaves all over the place. It looks like it's the middle of fall. So, yeah,
very weird.
Good times. Yeah. So leaf picking up season is both in the fall and in the spring.
It's back. Awesome.
Folks, it never freaking ends.
Very cool. Very cool. And meanwhile in Omaha, it's just snowing. It's just normal snow. I see it going down Dodge right now.
It's pretty crazy how fast the snow has been falling today. I mean, it was like, hey, it's starting to snow. And then a half hour later, it's like, oh, wow, it's all over the streets.
Would you like to join in on our snow predictions that we made in the previous crossover?
I absolutely would. What kind of inches do we got?
We have, this is for the snowfall total at Eppley Airfield.
Always important.
Whenever the snow ends. We have a 4.6. We have a 5.2. We have a 6.3. We have a 4.8 and a 3.8. Now, you guys,
very average, by the way. Very
normal
average
sizes.
Yes, very average range.
Nothing wrong with any
Many
of those
people
sizes.
are saying.
So you guys have the advantage of already seeing like 4 previous hours of snow, which will probably help you. But you go.
Well,
ahead,
I'm at a disadvantage because I'm in Lincoln, so
That's true. That's true.
I'm nowhere close to Epley Airfield.
6.9 inches for your boy.
Oh, nice.
6.9 inches, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'll write it.
Yep. Thank you. John?
John, do we measure how much John's oak trees are off the ground?
How many branches fall at John's house? That's what
I
we're
have
measuring today.
See, I don't know. Who knows? See, you gave me so many different numbers. I'll just hit 5.7.
5.7. That's basically in the middle.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of numbers, this is the first time John is back since the sad news about Walter Rouse. So I would like to say that I am taking off 0.3 wins, and I am back down to 6 now. I am back down to 6 wins.
Yeah.
I might even go to 5.9, guys. I mean, I'm really concerned.
If I lose
here we go.
a half a win, I got to take off the half.
Got to take it off. Yep,
yes. Yep. I'm back.
Though
down
I
to
guess
5.
they did add Garcia
Xavier
Castaneda and Xavier Betts. So I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay.
Great. They're
going
going to be awesome on the offensive line. That's going to be great. We're going to block with 7 wide receivers. It's going to be a whole new way of playing football.
Put some weight on them. Put some weight on them. They can block.
Okay. I'll take off 3/10. So I'll go back to 5.2.
Okay.
5.2.
John?
Walter outweighs them, literally and figuratively.
I mean, I didn't add anything for him, so I really can't subtract anything for him, can I?
I guess that's true. Yeah, that's true.
You were not positive in adding anything for him. So Josh took 6, and I'll be at 5.
They did add the linebacker from Georgia.
5-star.
Oh.
You know what? I'll be nice. It's an ucky, rotten, awful day. Give me an add a 10th.
Let's go.
4.1.
Wow.
Going over there.
4.1.
Congrats to Matt Rule. Congrats to Nebraska football. John is finally being positive about the new Matt Rule era. Now that they
I wasn't negative about it.
Wow.
I was never negative about it. I feel very confident in saying I have no confidence in whatever prediction I make this year for this team.
Understandably so.
Zero confidence level at all.
I'm back from the board.
All right. Yeah, we can see you.
I'm back from the board.
That's the advantage. We can see you on the.
Yeah, that's true.
There. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
we know when you're back, folks. All right, so I'm at 4.1. Josh is back at what?
6.
And
6 flat.
6 flat.
And Connor, you're at
5.2.
5.2.
It's so weird being the most positive out of all of us. It's very strange. It's a new world that I'm living in.
Dallas wins 1 playoff game, and Josh turns into sunshine and lollipops.
I can't figure out why John is so negative.
I can't either. It's
I'm not
weird.
negative. I'm just very just kind of.
That's negative. John going That's pretty negative.
It's just
Negative
would be like 2.
Well, yeah, that would be.
They've never
really
done
negative.
2.
That's true. They haven't.
They've never done 2.
Be more negative. Yes, but I'd say 4 is still pretty negative.
Yeah. I would definitely say
not
4
when you
is
consider
negative.
Matt Rule's track record.
That's true.
So their win total is going to come out, and it's going to be above 4.
It will. And just like every other win total, the under has won. So
true.
That's the thing. But like I was telling Josh, I feel less confident about making a prediction this year than any other season ever, and we still have 8 months to go.
Here's
and
a question.
I don't think it's going to change.
What will the win total be when the numbers are released in May? What would you predict the win total will be via Vegas and the FanDuel Sportsbook?
6.5.
I believe it will be either 6 or 6.5. 6 would be the trickiest number because then you'd have to pick one way or the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, 6.5. I could see it being there too.
I'll go 5.5. Go 5.5 is what
people are just going to smoke that over. Nebraska fans are going to crush that over.
Wouldn't you love to see the numbers and, you'd have to aggregate every single sports book, every single online site. Wouldn't you love to know the amount of money that has been won and lost on Nebraska win totals the last half dozen years?
Be great. And how many of the under or the over losers came from our fair state,
It'd be
How many-
like a lot of
Yeah, 99% of the bettors.
But I mean,
that
is
bet
it a lot
over
of
from
is it a lot of small bettors on the over and a lot of
Yes.
large bettors on the winner? Thus, the money kind of equals out.
Yeah.
That would be my guess.
I would love to know. I really would. I would love to know just how much, because the handle on something like that's not going to be tremendous because
it's a bad team.
Yeah. Well, and there's so many other bets out there.
It is interesting though, because people go by the analytics and what the numbers say about you. And usually, and I know this was the case last year, the numbers were pretty positive on Nebraska. Like if you're going exclusively off that and you're just betting around on some of the numbers that you saw out there for season totals, you would have bet over on Nebraska because they were pretty confident in that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So,
I remember talking about that with Bill Connolly last year, just being a little surprised because there were so many questions in terms of like players that were going to be replaced, but they were like a lot of them being replaced by guys who had production at their previous locale. So I guess that kind of just fit right into it. But it was just, I don't know, of all the years where the number was high, I was a little shocked that last year's was, just given how many new players they were going to have.
But the under is hit every year.
The under is hit
every single year.
Yeah.
Well, they'll have a bunch of new players again this year.
New coaching staff.
Yeah, because there's like 60 new players on the roster. That's I mean, when you count the recruits, the walk-ons, and the transfers. I mean, that's a healthy chunk, especially if Rule gets it down to 130 guys, which is kind of where it sounds like he wants to be.
Yeah,
I mean, we're talking half the roster.
Yeah, I mean, you're over 90, I think 92, 93 scholarships right now. Like there's going to have to be some more attrition. And usually the attrition comes from guys that were here under the previous staff. So yeah, the big chunk of your roster is going to be all new, all new. Some of which had, guys that they've had on the defensive side out of the transfer portal that'll probably play not much production because they were like backups at their previous school.
Yeah,
but there is a bunch of offensive production that is coming in.
Yeah. And to go back to why we started this discussion in the first place, like the Walter Rouse news, like the reason why that was such a bummer was it's not that he's just a lineman and that those are hard to find. He was a lineman with starting experience. That's why you like Ben Scott. He's a lineman with starting experience. Sims, a quarterback with starting experience. Kemp. Kemp, there you go. And that they got their running backs back too. It's funny because today's the last day for, portal entries 1.0. And if you would have told me, a month and a half ago that these types of players would be left over. I mean, really the only surprise is Ernest Hausman, right? Like that's it. And otherwise you're like I think you're pretty pleased with who you've kept around. Got your quarterback still, you got running back still, etc.
Yeah, I wonder if there'll be, I assume there'll be a few more maybe surprises after spring. I think the attitude is like, I'll stick around for a spring and sort of see how it goes.
See what happens.
Afterwards, there will be a couple that end up there. But you're right. It's been not much negative.
No,
a lot of positive.
I'm stunned that the quarterback room is intact like it is. Like I thought at least
so
one
far
guy was going to leave. Yeah, and look, someone's going to leave, and if not multiple people. But I can't.
They won't be able to sustain those kind of numbers.
There's 6 guys on scholarship right now. It's way too many.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to sustain those numbers. So I mean, there'll be at least a little bit of attrition there, and probably attrition somewhere else. But yeah, I mean, for a roster overhaul, I guess anymore it's just kind of to be expected in this day of college football, even with a new staff. I mean, there's a good chance even if Frost had somehow kept his job, there might have been another overhaul. But we don't have to worry about that.
Thank God. Oh, man.
Oh, you guys are doing dumb debates today. We came up with a good dumb debate earlier in the show. And I don't know how we got to. Oh, yeah, because Tony White did a hashtag Calabrasca. And somehow we ended up at the point where I was asking the question, has Mike Riley aged better now that Scott Frost is gone and Scott Frost isn't here to like rip him all the time? Like are people going to be more free in their opportunity to say Mike Riley wasn't that bad now that Scott Frost is gone? Or is he still the devil? Dumb debates. Go.
I think he's aged well. I think there are people have to like
he's definitely aged better without Frost's success. Yes. Yeah. So there's that. Yeah.
But there are still people that really dislike Riley and they kind of blame Frost's struggles still a little bit on him. So I think that that's a very real thing. I think the frustration, I don't know, John, about you, but the frustration that I always sense from people with Riley is that he was a pushover. And, like you look at what happened with his defensive coordinator, Mark Banker, getting fired essentially by his athletic director. And it seems like that's what people dislike about Mike Riley more than, his wins or losses on the football field.
They dislike Mike Riley from what he represents because he was such a departure from what Nebraska had prior.
Yeah.
And there was no Nebraska ties. The reason why a Bill Callahan might age better is because they did bring in some really good players. And Callahan has gone on to, basically return to the NFL and be one of the more respected line coaches out there. So it was obvious he knew talent. He just, was overly loyal to, his defensive coordinator and maybe made some other, miscalculations about what it took to win at Nebraska. But I think enough of the water was poisoned, after Riley got let go and Frost and company came in and went scorched earth on him, that a lot of people were like, oh yeah, they were so soft and they couldn't do this and they couldn't do that. And that, that sticks, and that's hard to shake. That's hard to, take that kind of a reputation away. Once you get that soft reputation, it's hard to get it back. And so I think that's a reason why, Riley's not going to age well. And let's face it, I mean, he had 2 losing seasons, even though one ended in a bowl game with somehow, them getting a win. He had 2 losing seasons out of 3. So it's hard to make that look very good, even though the guy who followed him was the worst head coach in Nebraska football.
And that's the thing. And now people have, sort of transitioned to, I mean, I think we've talked about this a little bit, but it's a hell of a lot easier because of the results and other things that it's just easy to make fun of Scott Frost now. Like he's sort of become like that guy was really, really bad. So now the stuff that he says, or he has said in the past, it's like, I don't know if that was right. Even though the next staff or next staffs later will say similar or even the same things. We always look back to the previous guy and say, yeah, that guy was wrong, so he must have been doing everything wrong.
Yeah.
They didn't have success here. They must have screwed up everything.
The thing about this is, or where we're at today, is it feels like it's such a clean break and a different start, right?
Yes.
And also the way Matt Rule has, acknowledged the past, but hasn't clung to it or hasn't used it as a crutch or he's been very complimentary, right? And so, it's an acknowledgement of it without trying to make it more of an anchor or more of a talking point than it really needs to be or should be. And so because of that, I think that it will help. It will help everyone just look at this in a whole new light. I mean, the fact that you have so few carryovers, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, the fact that there is very little, quote unquote, Nebraska left on this coaching staff. Yeah. When I say coaching staff, I really mean the whole staff, right? Outside of the people in like sports information and maybe Trev. Some of the other, and Trev and some of the other folks that were deeper in the office, in the cubicles. There's very little Nebraska left on this staff, which is very interesting for a place like this that has always been very parochial. But it also makes it feel like much more of a clean break than any of the other. Because like when Callahan came in, it was the first time you had really gone outside the family. And then there was, keeping the Turner Gills around, and, Steve Peterson was still here and he was a Nebraska guy. So that kind of made things different. But this feels a lot more like a clean break because Matt Rule has really leaned in to doing things by his blueprint and getting people that are tied to him. Time will tell if that's a wise choice or if he should have branched out a little bit more. But that's why it feels so different, this changeover, than maybe some of the other changeovers.
Yeah, and John, I think along with what you just said, if this staff ends up being successful, I think the story that is going to be told will be they were successful because there was a clean break. And if they are not successful, people will look back and say they were not successful because there was a clean break. And so in hindsight, this is going to age one way or the other. But I find it interesting. And I think you and I talked about this a little bit in the last month and a half, that there, for the first time ever in my lifetime, there has not really been any pushback to the idea of moving forward without a whole lot of Nebraska involved. Whereas Callahan got a lot of frustration. Yeah. Riley got a lot of frustration. Even Bo caught some flack for like not recruiting the state or caring about things. Like, this is the first time where I can really remember people being like, look, I just want to win and I really don't care how.
I just think a lot of things with how the fans view it is, it comes back to, you've tried so many different blueprints and ideas of how it could work. And we've bought into all of them, right? Or at least most people have. You try this, you try this, you try this. So now we've run the gamut, all the different things, and it's like, yeah, you know what? Let's do this again. I think that's where we're at, and that's probably actually a healthy thing, when it comes down to it. But
it's a healthy thing because it's grossly apparent that Matt Rule is doing things his way, right?
Yeah.
Because with Riley, you mentioned the Mark Banker situation and how letting other people meddle. I think Frost, to a degree, was hampered by, what, not so much what he wanted or what he was trying to do, but what was expected of him. And that it had to be done. There had to be callbacks to, 150 guys on the roster and a huge walk-on program and, doing things a certain way. And, and obviously with Riley, there was just the whole culture shift from going from hard in the paint with a fiery guy like Bo to, now more of a soft-spoken leader. But this one, it is all Matt Rule. Succeed or fail, this is all going to go back on one guy.
Yep.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, which it's Frost, it ultimately went back to one guy.
Riley, a lot of people wanted to blame other people for all of the other failures.
Sure. But this
Even
time,
Callahan.
this time it's like, this is Rule's fingerprints all over it. And there's no questioning if anyone's meddling. There's no questioning if anyone's got undue influence. It's all Matt Rule.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Dumb debates. Great job. I've participated in my first dumb debate.
Awesome.
Well, we'll have more dumb debates later in the program today.
Good to hear.
In addition to
get after it. Yeah, go ahead.
In addition to Steve Sipple, which, can be a dumb debate depending on, the mood that he's in, the day.
Yeah, start the interview, John, by complimenting Mike Riley, and it'll turn into a dumb debate very quickly.
Mitch Holtis, Mike Shafer, and more. So glad you could be with us. Please don't drive and watch at the same time.
Yes.
And we will get going next. Connor, have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Stay safe out there.
Yep. See you guys.
And we will be back with Unsportsmanlike Conduct next on 1620 The Zone.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Winter storm warnings will remain in effect until 6 o'clock Thursday morning. Heavy wet snow will be a part of the forecast throughout your Wednesday afternoon and evening. Snowfall rates could top as high as 1 inch to 2 inches per hour. Lighter snow possible throughout the overnight before tapering off by daybreak Thursday. 6 to 10 inches of snow possible for the Omaha Metro. I'm meteorologist Anthony Copeland for KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
This is a sale so big that Standard Heating and Air can only do it once a year. Right now, and for a very limited time, buy a Carrier air conditioner from Standard Heating and Air and get a free furnace. Carrier, turn to the experts. On qualifying equipment, for details, call or click.
Hi, it's Nick Hanley for Woodhouse Mazda. Start the new year off right in a Mazda CX-5 from Woodhouse Mazda or Woodhouse Place Mazda, the Metro's exclusive Mazda dealers. It's what I drive and I love mine. They have inventory available on the lot and arriving daily. The suite of safety features includes blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, and adaptive front lighting system. So as you turn a corner, the LED lights pivot in the direction you're turning. Shop online at WoodhousePlaceMazda.com or WoodhouseMazda.com. A drive worth experiencing.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with Autosave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's half-off deal is $50 worth of vouchers to Le Voltaire French Restaurant for only $25. Le Voltaire Pepperwood Village is a locally owned, unpretentious French restaurant serving down-home cooking with an extensive wine list and great handcrafted cocktails for decades. Whether dining with friends, clients, or that special someone, Le Voltaire will make you feel right at home.
Zone Deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
You've got options when you shop pre-owned with Woodhouse. Over 1,000 cars, trucks, and SUVs inspected and road ready, with a team ready to tackle all your needs and wants to get you the perfect vehicle. Plus, with financing options and extended warranty coverage options, Woodhouse makes purchasing your next vehicle an easy one-stop shop in dealership or online, bringing you more every time since 1975. Shop Woodhouse.
Hey, it's Tapper for the FanDuel Sportsbook, and the divisional round is here, and FanDuel is giving all customers a no-sweat same-game parlay during the divisional round. Doesn't matter if you're new to FanDuel or if you already have an account, you'll get free bets back if your NFL playoff same-game parlay doesn't hit. As I've been telling people, I was all over the SGPs last weekend. Anytime touchdown scores, parlay them together, or touchdown scores in the same game, interception throwers, all available to you on the FanDuel Sportsbook with the same-game parlay feature. You can even ride with thousands of other fans and bet popular SGPs that are already laid out there for you. If you're new to FanDuel, join right now with promo code HAPPER to see for yourself why it's America's #1 sportsbook. Or if you already have FanDuel, you can start building your own no-sweat same-game parlay right now. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus, present in Iowa, 3+ legs, minimum $1 bet required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max bonus $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Sean Callahan breaks down signing day and all the recent additions to the Husker staff and roster this Thursday at Holy Ghost Church on 52nd and Q. Doors open at 5, program starts at 7, and it's only $10 for adults and $5 for children. Sponsored by Husker Hounds and Mama's Pizza.
This edition of Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone is proudly presented by Union Bank and Trust. The program starts now.
KOZN. Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone. Husker Athletics, Creighton, and yes, UNO. Don't miss a moment, they'll give you your fix. They're on every day from 2 until 6. Spend your afternoons with John, Josh, and Nick. John, Josh, and Nick. They'll show you what sports talk really is.
While Omaha's going to get pounded with snow, Lincoln is in a dry slot.
What's the dry slot mean again? It's not good, right? You never
Well,
want the
no.
slot to be dry, John.
Wow, do
You
we have to
never
do
want
the
it to be
birds and beads with you again?
Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone. Husker Athletics, Creighton, and yes, UNO.
At least that's what the weather dude said earlier. That it looked like there was a dry. Oh yeah, sure enough.
The slot
Yeah,
is
it looks
dry.
like it's let's see. Will this translate very well there? There's the radar.
Oh,
There's a link.
yeah,
There's my
yeah.
house, the blue dot.
Nice.
And the snow is moving
Yep.
out. Well, it says it's snow because it's the white, versus the pink, which is the freezing rain, but we didn't get any snow here.
The white and the pink. I mean, it happens a lot. Speaking about birds and bees.
Well, while we enjoy a dry slot, hopefully every one of you is being careful out there during the Poop Storm 2023.
Winter Storm Iggy is what they're calling it.
This is so
Who
dumb.
is calling it that?
This is
The
so
Weather
dumb.
Channel. They called it.
I don't
Winter
believe
Storm
you.
Iggy.
No,
I
they
figured
do.
that
They-
was like
they
some
started-
Reddit thing.
They started
Weather-
naming winter storms a few years ago.
What?
Similar to how they name, tropical storms and I think they've even gone to naming some of the spring storms, like the tornado outbreaks, different things.
I feel like those should be reserved for hurricanes.
Yeah.
Tropical storms.
Leave it for hurricanes. Hurricanes are kind of they're special in their own little way.
Yeah.
And everything else, granted, if you've ever been, hit by a tornado, it's
tornado.
It's not great. But hurricanes are widespread, just mammoth. Bleh. And yeah, sure, this is widespread too, but it's snow, folks. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's snow. It's snow, it's ice. We should all know what to do by now. We can no longer proclaim ignorance that, it was the first time, so I didn't know I had to slow down or that I, need to leave space. No. We've now gone through this for a couple of months now. There's no excuses. We know what to do. You know what to do. A lot of you have been staying home anyway. There's places closing everywhere.
Yeah,
right?
I saw this. A lot of breweries in Omaha are closed today. Restaurants are closing down in Omaha today.
First thing Josh mentions.
Well, I did.
All the importance of breweries are closing. Oh no, the breweries are closed.
Our baker is
IPAs today.
I was just saying that John says places are closed. I mentioned the first thing that I
And
saw.
the first thing you mentioned, that's like if I would have said, "Hey, Robert
What should I
Kraft."
mention?
Robert Kraft, a lot of things are closing today, and old Bob Kraft says, "Yeah, the massage parlors."
Urban Meyer, a lot of things are closing today.
Schools are closed today. Schools are closed. How about that? Is that okay for you guys? Restaurants?
Breweries and then schools next to breweries. Nice.
I don't care, Nick. I don't have kids.
The
I don't care about
schools were
schools.
closing yesterday. The schools were closing yesterday.
Yeah,
So.
I'm just sad because it had been so nice not to have snow on the ground, really since about Christmas. It's all been melted. It was been really nice, and now it's all back again. My running trail is going to be all ruined for the next couple of days. I'm very sad. I'm very sad by this news. Very sad. Yeah,
Take like a little portable snowplow and plow the trail while you
Oh,
run.
trust me, in some cities like this one, in some cities, they do a better job of treating the stupid trails than they do the streets, which is just dumb.
That's awesome. Good.
No,
looking
it
out
is
for the-
not. No, it is not awesome. It is dumb.
Good looking out for the runners out there and the bike riders. Yeah, John, the bicyclists. Think about the bicyclists.
If you're bicycling and stuff like this, you deserve to wreck.
Yeah, you're a pretty big idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a pretty big idiot. Don't do that.
It's weird, when you come in midweek like this, the last 2 days been traveling to Indy and back, and I feel like I'm just out of it, right? That, all the NFL takes have been exhausted and we've reacted to everything that took place over the weekend. Yet we are going to have NFL hot take market today.
Yes, we are.
Today on the program.
Do you have any leftover opinions? Do you have anything about Tim Brewster in Colorado? Did you see this? Did you hear about this?
No, I'm not paying attention.
Did you see that video?
If it ain't Coach Prime, I don't care.
All right. Well, because we haven't talked about it yet on the show. So if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
All right. Maybe I'll upload the video during the next commercial break then. Maybe I'll do that.
All right. You upload the video because, we haven't done a countdown to, what is the day? September 9th?
September 9th. Yeah, did you see this? Did you hear about this?
Got my little flip calendar.
The Pac-12 schedule came out today, and so everyone is losing their minds because we're getting excited for football. And one of the things is Colorado's first month is hilariously tough. It is so brutal. They played the defending runners up in their opener. They have Nebraska coming into town, and then I think they have USC and Oregon and another team in September. It's oh God, good luck with you. Good luck with you.
Well, they're trying to take advantage of Coach Prime. Get
And
him on
Oregon.
TV as much as possible early on before they get waxed, and then no one will want to watch them in October and November.
It's a good idea. Yeah, get it out of the way.
But is it as tough as Notre Dame's schedule? You saw that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was Notre Dame.
It doesn't seem that hard to me.
They have USC and Ohio State, Nick. What do you mean it's not that hard? They have USC and Ohio State.
Yeah, those are two schools, but then they released that whole.
Those are two schools. That is some of the best synopsis of Ohio State.
Yeah,
and
just two schools.
They're
USC.
two
They're
good
two
schools. But the rest,
schools.
compared to the rest of it, they're they released a dumb. It looked like a bad mobile game trailer. of all of it's like, oh, we're playing on hard mode. Like, yeah, there's 2 hard schools on there, but then it's like,
oh, there's more than that. I mean, now they start with the Navy game, and then they're at NC State in week
Navy's
3. Ohio State, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
At Duke, had a great bounce back season last year.
Pitt at Clemson, Nick.
They'll have to deal with Jeff Brom at Louisville.
Wake Forest is always good.
At Clemson, at Stanford. Well, Stanford's going to be not great.
Yeah, they'll be bad. Yeah, Nick, what are you talking about? That's a decently tough schedule.
It feels like they're overhyping it. It doesn't seem that tough to me.
Wow,
Nick, let me tell you something about Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Everything is overhyped.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Nick, you've done a really good job, I'd say, over the last year. You're learning about sports. You have opinions.
Yep.
But I guess we got to teach you. Notre Dame is maybe you think that the Dallas Cowboys are overhyped, and they always are. But Notre Dame takes it to a whole other level in the realm of college football.
We did have that guest that one time that's super in on Notre Dame.
He was super in.
Yeah, he was very excited. Notre Dame was going to be the best team of all time. Good point, Nick.
All right, so the Rooferees lineup powered by John Higgins, the Rooferees, John Higgins Weather Guard. SIP coming up this hour with Mike Shafer and Mitch Holtis coming up in the next hour, and Dumb Debates Day. Get in your dumb debates, by the way. You know, I've been so thrown off by my week that I forgot, and I didn't get the tweet out until later this morning. So send in your dumb debates, J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed at USC 1620. Equitable Bank inbox, John at 1620thezone.com, or Josh at 1620thezone.com, or Nick at 1620thezone.com.
That's me.
So all of that as we continue on. Last night, Creighton got a big win. We'll discuss that and more, and continue with more of the program on Poop Storm 23. See, that's better than Iggy.
Yeah, I like that.
It's Poop Storm 23. Until the next one, then we got to figure out a different one, because actually it makes it sound like it's the 23rd Poop Storm.
That's true.
So maybe we should just call it Poop Storm 2023.
All right. So it's the 2023rd Poop Storm of the year.
A lot of poop storms.
No. It's 2023 as in the year 2023.
Oh, I see. My bad.
Or maybe the 2023 Poop Storm.
Okay, that works
what
for me
if there's
too.
another poop storm, though?
Well, the next one will be like more of a puke storm.
You know what, John, would help you out during the next puke or poop storm?
Gary's butt?
I was going to say, if you had $100 in your pocket, how nice would that be?
Nice.
I'd love $100 in my pocket right now.
I would too. And you can win Gary's butt. Yes, it's Gary's booty. Be listening to Mornings with Sharp and Hanley for the big stat. And then if you can answer correctly, when your cue to call comes, you can win $100 or more, depending on if someone won previously, because the pot will continue to rise the longer that. What's the biggest they've given away so far? Do we know this yet?
Nick, you're in promotions, kind of.
Not that part of
promotions. We need these statistics.
Yeah, Nick,
we got all these stupid whiteboards in our studio. We need these statistics. I want to know who's winning the money.
Yeah, Nick, go ask somebody during the commercial break. We need to know the answer to this question.
But be listening Mornings with Sharp and Hanley for Gary's booty on 1620 The Zone.
The divisional round of the NFL playoffs finishes with a Sunday doubleheader. Hi, this is Scott Graham. Join me and the rest of our Westwood One crew for all the action. First, Joe Burrow and the Bengals take on Josh Allen and the Bills. Then it's a classic NFC showdown when the Dallas Cowboys meet the San Francisco 49ers. Coverage begins at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. From the wild card round all the way to Super Bowl 57 in Arizona, the NFL playoffs are right here.
If it's the NFL, it's on 1620 The Zone.
Guys, let's face it, there is a time when you just need to get out of the house, to have your own place, to be with the guys, or just a quiet, relaxing place for yourself. Well, Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge hears you loud and clear. Settle in. Escape to Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge for an incredible selection, plus premium cocktails, a knowledgeable, friendly staff, state-of-the-art humidor, and incredible lounge. Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, just off I-680 at 48th Street, next to Cubby's.
And no enrollment fees at Genesis Health Clubs. It won't get any lower than this, and enrollment fees are waived to celebrate 2023. This offer has been extended for a limited time. Hi, I'm Rodney Steven. It's the new year, and you've set your New Year's resolutions, right? Well, it's time to go. I have good news and bad news for you. The bad news is, if you don't get started, your New Year's resolutions won't happen, and you'll be in the same place next year. You have to take that first step and build habits that will change your life forever. One of my favorite quotes is, if it is to be, it is up to me. And that is absolutely true. And we know you can do it. We'll help you every step of the way. We help hundreds of thousands of people reach their fitness goals each year. And what about you this year? Join Genesis Health Clubs for our lowest month-to-month rate that we'll offer in all of 2023. Plus, no enrollment fees and no contracts. Offer extended. Act now. It will not get any better than this. Join at GenesisHealthClubs.com now, because this special won't last. This offer has been extended for a limited time.
Some people got COVID and thought, well, that wasn't such a big deal. But you can get COVID again, and next time it could be worse, especially for those 50 and older, or with a chronic condition like heart disease or diabetes. But with an updated vaccine, you have better protection from COVID's worst outcomes. And that's a big deal. Find updated COVID vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Email us on the Equitable inbox with whatever is on your mind. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. You can hit me up, agree, disagree, tell me your thoughts on life at Hanley@1620thezone.com. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring. Starting wage is up to $20.10 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/career. Again, apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
A bunch of redneck idiots.
On 1620 The Zone.
It's so quiet. Oh, there we go. Is that one of them funky deals where you have to turn the audio off for the stream, blah, blah, blah? Is that how that works?
Yes and no.
Oh. Well, is it yes
Great
or is
answer.
it no?
Today it's no.
Okay.
So you're saying you messed up there, Nick? Is that what
I messed
happened?
up here.
You
Yeah.
messed up there. Okay.
Fine.
How about this, John? A comment from our former fearless leader, Mike Thompson. It's a chilly 57 degrees here in Pasadena. Brr. He's a jerk.
But is the sun still cascading off of the San Gabriel Mountains?
Great
That's
question.
the big question.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Also-
it wouldn't be right now because it's not even 1 o'clock there.
That's true. The sunset's still a few hours away. And John emails into the Equitable Bank inbox. He says, Ohio State and Notre Dame are just two schools, I guess, kind of like Brady and Mahomes are just two quarterbacks. Good analysis, Nick.
It is good analysis.
I'm not saying that they're bad schools. I'm just saying that's 2 out of what? How many schools? How many schools do they play?
12.
Well, there's like 130. What is the official number? Like 131.
131 now. 131. Yeah.
But they're kind of. I mean, they're kind of important schools. They're like
Nick.
big name schools. Like
That's like
blue
two playoff
blood.
contenders. Two playoff contenders.
Yeah, and then the rest of their schedule isn't.
I
In
mean,
the grand
Clemson.
scheme of things, it's not a big deal.
Clemson, a playoff contender.
I had someone arguing with me that Nebraska's been scheduling too hard. and that they in both
I saw
football and
this debate that you
basketball,
had.
and this was just this
idiotic.
Rev Tom is a huge Husker fan, but he's convinced that Nebraska is scheduling too hard in the non-conference in both football and in men's basketball, because it was in response to the fact that Nebraska is in the top 5 of the toughest strength of schedules
in hoops,
you know, with Creighton. And my response is, well, first of all, some of that stuff can't be controlled because you're in a Big Ten conference. So you're going to play a Gavitt game, or you're in the rotation for the Gavitt games. There used to be the ACC Challenge. That won't exist after this year.
Yeah.
You know, you also have an in-state rivalry that you've scheduled annually with Creighton. Plus, if you go to an MTE, one of those early Thanksgiving, you know, holiday type tournaments, you're usually playing at least a couple of good schools. So,
and then your conference schedule.
And honestly, when I looked at Nebraska's schedule before the beginning of the season, I didn't think it was like murderer's row.
No.
Kansas State, who got a huge win last night, by the way,
Yes,
congratulations.
Good defense on the last possession.
And by the way, we'll have video later on. You know, we were critical of their head coach a couple weeks ago for being all kind of throwing cold water on his win over Texas. Went completely in the opposite direction last night after the win over KU. But as far as the football schedule is concerned, I think the way Nebraska is doing it, and has really done, it's been about the one consistent thing Nebraska has done over the years, has been, you know, they usually try to get one power-ish conference team, and then
Oklahoma, Colorado.
One would be a mid-majors team, and then one probably, you know, on the cream puff side. I think that's the way to go. And any blue blood type program, any Power 5 program that actively tries to avoid playing another power conference program, that's embarrassing.
Yeah,
it's embarrassing, and it's dumb, and it's a disservice to the sport.
Yeah, I understand being frustrated that the team has been bad over the last few years. I get it.
That's because the team is bad.
Exactly. And I think that I like, one of the things I've liked, John, is that the athletic directors have tried to put together a schedule that every other year the fans know that a good non-conference or a named non-conference opponent is going to come into town. I think that's important to the fan base, that they know next year, 2024, Colorado will be back in town, that they had Oklahoma in 2022.
Well, and you should reward them too. You should reward them by having those opponents here, making their ticket value, and rewarding them with some attractive trips. The Colorado trip, obviously, we went there a few years ago. Very attractive trip. Oklahoma, a lot of nostalgia, an attractive trip, you know? So just to go out there and say, well, let's just be like Kansas State, you know, back in the early Bill Snyder days. No, that's ridiculous. You get your team better. We're not taught. This is not a murderer's row schedule. Okay.
No, it's not.
It's not a murderer's row. The reason why it's been bad is because the team is bad.
Yeah, exactly. There was a text message that just came in from Travis. He says, yes, because a difficult non-conference scheduling is the reason Nebraska basketball and football have lost to cupcakes. Yeah. What? So you're going to blame the tough schedule and them losing to Georgia Southern? Like, come on. No, it's because they've been a bad football team. And yeah, I don't understand that opinion from Doug. I think that the scheduling has been solid in football. I would hope that they keep it up moving forward. It's funny. I usually think the basketball non-conference schedule is pretty cupcakey. So, you know, like, it's not outside of Creighton and, you know, the occasional challenge game. It's usually, in my opinion, it's usually pretty forgettable. It's just they've lost to bye teams. You know, what's that famous Lee Barfnick lead? It's like, you know, I watched a team light $90,000 on fire today or something like that. Like when they lost one of the bye games. Like, yeah, they haven't been a good program.
Coming up, Steve Sipple of HuskerOnline.com joins us on 1620 The Zone. John Bishop here from McCarthy's 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. It is time to always be thinking ahead. Thinking ahead. I told you back in October, think ahead to getting your furnace inspected. Now you want to think ahead to making sure that your home comfort system is working all year round. So when you join the Comfort Club at McCarthy's 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, you don't have to put any guesswork into it anymore, because the pros at McCarthy's will be out twice a year to inspect both the furnace and the AC and make sure everything is working properly and safely. Keep your home and your family both comfortable and safe throughout the heat of the summer, which, boy, we miss that on a day like this, or days like this, where that furnace is going to be working a little bit harder. Go to McCarthy's1hour.com and find out more about the benefits of joining the McCarthy's Comfort Club, which also includes discounts on repairs and priority call service, which means if it's busy, you get to move to the front of the line. And remember, no matter when you set your appointment with McCarthy's, they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. McCarthy's 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, McCarthy's1hour.com.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit ubt.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
From basketball to volleyball, baseball to softball, soccer, tennis, and so much more, the Creighton sports season is packed with action. The 1620 The Jays podcast, presented by Barry Law, covers it all. Each week, we visit with Blue Jay athletes and coaches to hear their stories and document their climb through the Big East Conference. The 1620 The Jays podcast drops each Friday morning and is found at 1620thezone.com and all major podcast platforms. Just search 1620 The Jays. Covering all things Creighton Blue Jays, it's the 1620 The Jays podcast, presented by Barry Law from 1620 The Zone.
Hey friends, Kent Pavelka here, back with John Higgins and the Rooferees at the Weather Guard showroom. I imagine there are a lot of people out there with really bad roofs waiting for the magic moment. When's the magic moment?
Depends on what type of roof you have. It depends on how old your roof is. I have a customer right now talking about waiting for that hailstorm. Now it's leaking. There's a time where you can't wait for that hailstorm forever.
When it comes time to replace your roof, your gutters, and siding, there's only one call to make. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. Well, still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or get it right the first time with eBay Motors Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride.
Attention sales professionals. NRG Media is looking for an accomplished business-to-business salesperson who wants to take their success and skills to a new level. Is this you? Our account executives work with local businesses to create marketing plans to help them get more customers. On air, digital, on-site, audio, video, it's all part of what you could sell. A sales career with NRG lets you make a real difference. Get more info and apply online at nrgmedia.com. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
Hi, it's Nick Hanley for Woodhouse Mazda. Start the new year off right in a Mazda CX-5 from Woodhouse Mazda or Woodhouse Place Mazda, the Metro's exclusive Mazda dealers. It's what I drive and I love mine. They have inventory available on the lot and arriving daily. The suite of safety features includes blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, and adaptive front lighting system. So as you turn a corner, the LED lights pivot in the direction you're turning. Shop online at WoodhousePlaceMazda.com or WoodhouseMazda.com. A drive worth experiencing.
I had a nighttime routine for my frequent heartburn. I would drink milk, I would sleep upright with more pillows, but that painful burning stayed. So I made Prilosec OTC part of my morning routine. With just one pill each morning, Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid production, blocking heartburn day and night. Now I have a new nighttime routine. I call it sleeping.
One pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn. With Prilosec OTC. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. They personalize this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Sean Callahan breaks down signing day and all the recent additions to the Husker staff and roster this Thursday at Holy Ghost Church on 52nd and Q. Doors open at 5. Program starts at 7, and it's only $10 for adults and $5 for children. Sponsored by Husker Hounds and Mama's Pizza.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Sipple the snowflake is one old triggered soul with reading glasses sitting on his nose and takes that really blow. Sipple the snowflake deserves a mouthpiece to the face. He says LeBron's the GOAT and Steph will choke. Then he runs to his safe space. Hey, we gotta be careful here. He tells us when we speak. But when 10 games air in a day, he thinks that's too many. Oh, Sipple the snowflake says words like mature. He's a blogger now and an honor too, and also really old.
Well, we got Josh humming along to the music. I'm directing traffic in the house as laundry is getting done, and Steve Sipple is eating clam chowder while talking to us on the hotline. Hi, Sip.
Hi. How are you guys doing?
Good, man.
Clam chowder. Where does one get good clam chowder in the middle of Nebraska on January the 18th?
Super Saver, Campbell.
Attaboy.
Hell yeah, Sip.
That's what I'm talking about. Is it chunky soup, I assume?
Well, no, it's clam chowder. Campbell's clam chowder.
Oh, but is it like in the chunky family of soups and chowders? Or is it just a plain old can of Campbell's clam chowder?
Yeah, it's just a plain old can of Campbell's clam chowder. And it's really good. It's really good.
Is that like are you a soup guy on a day like today when it's cold and dreary outside?
Yeah, I am. Winter. Yeah, I like the bean, bacon, soup. I don't know that anybody cares about this. I like bean and bacon and chicken and wild rice and clam chowder.
Nice.
Awesome. Ooh, that's a very eclectic trio of soups that you have there. I would not have guessed you as a chicken and wild rice. That's pretty good. I like the bean with bacon too.
Yeah, bean and bacon's really good. When I was in college, I wouldn't even heat it up. I just eat it right out of the can.
Oh, that's disgusting.
It's not advisable, but
no,
you know, I lived like a coyote in college.
Hey, and you know what? You're still here, man. You're still here, and you look good.
Wait a minute. You said you live like a coyote in college? I don't know many coyotes that could open a can of
oh, well, they'd figure it out, John, with their sharp teeth.
Yeah, I think a coyote, if presented with a can of bean and bacon soup, would figure out how to.
Yeah, they get to it. If it's the end of days and they got to eat to survive.
I want to do this now. I want Animal Planet. I want to get a coyote. Animal Planet needs to do just a show where they put a coyote in like a not a cage, but in a nice little area where it's fenced off, throw a can of bean with bacon soup in there as their only sustenance and see how long it takes before the coyote actually figures out its way into the can.
Yeah. It could get a little rough if he really goes full into it and cuts his mouth and all that. But I'd bet on him getting some morsels.
Well, speaking of morsels, Walter Rouse will be getting his morsels in Norman, Oklahoma, instead of Lincoln, Nebraska. That, my friends, is a transition. What did that flip say to you? I mean, what is it? I mean, when you heard the news, what went through your mind?
Well, immediately NIL went through my mind, and I just thought, well, he must have got a better package. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that was a factor. I think Oklahoma really sold him hard on Bill Bedenbaugh. He's the offensive line coach. Well, this is what I've heard. I wouldn't have known this had someone close to that situation not told me. But Oklahoma, Bill Bedenbaugh is their 50-year-old offensive line coach, and he just had a stretch of 5 straight Big 12 offensive linemen of the year. I think he's put 8 guys in the NFL. Double check that. I wrote it the other day. I can't remember the number. I think 8 in recent years. Definitely 2 the last 2 drafts he's had 2. So and what I've heard, and I've written it and I've said it on other shows, is there was some kind of negative recruiting against Donovan. Like why go there with a guy that's never put anybody in the NFL when you can go here with a guy who's put several people in the NFL and just had 5 straight Big 12. Well, that streak ended, I think, in 2021, but he had 5 straight Big 12 offensive linemen of the year. Now you might say, well, why couldn't they have done that? Well, why did he originally pick Nebraska? Didn't he have that information? What I've heard is they just kept selling it, and I don't know. I think that was part of it. I don't think that was all of it. And some of it you just chalk it up to, this young guys change their mind, and there could be other factors in there.
Yeah, Sip, that was kind of my reaction. Like, it was obviously a tough loss, and I was viewing that as quite the gain, but also, this happens with regular recruiting all the time. So I guess I was kind of asking myself over the weekend, is this any different than another player? Like, there's a famous guest or a famous drop from this show's history where Blaine Gabbert joined Kevin and Michael back in the day, and they asked him about Josh Freeman. He goes, "Don't worry, I won't pull a Josh Freeman." And then he pulled a Josh Freeman. So it's like players commit, and then they renege on their commitment all the time.
Yeah, it's it's not much different. You don't expect it maybe as much from a 22, 23-year-old graduate, especially such an abrupt change. It was really abrupt. It was
just a couple of days.
It was Wednesday night of last week.
Yeah, and he had made the rounds with a lot of the writers here too. Really praising Nebraska.
Yeah, and saying the word "we" associated with Nebraska, talking extensively about NIL opportunity, talking extensively about a lot of stuff. And then Saturday morning, this was Wednesday night. So then by Saturday morning, late Saturday morning, he had changed. And I would say I think it was quite a jolt to many in the fan base. I was struck that week by how many people just in, at Casey's or wherever I was, how many people wondered about Walter Rouse. And so I think I'll call it decommitment. I think it knocked a lot of people off their horse. And I regard it as a blow. I had an agent tell me that he's not healthy. He wasn't going to be available in the spring, but if he was healthy, he could be like a second round, maybe late first round type guy. Surefire draft pick. So, we haven't had much of that around here. So it's a blow.
Meanwhile, Nebraska did get a couple of players back that they thought they had previously lost, and they're both wide receivers, Isaiah Garcia Castaneda and Xavier Betts. In your mind, can Xavier Betts still end up being the Xavier Betts that was promised?
Yes, absolutely. He's not the type of player that gets far out of shape. He'll snap into condition fast. He's an elite athlete in that regard. I think he could, if he's ready for that, we'll call it the college football grind. If he's ready mentally to throw himself into that, yeah, I think he could be their number one receiver. In part because they really don't have someone that you look at as a defined number one. I just can't put that tag on Marcus Washington's good. He's a fine receiver, but I don't think Marcus Washington would be a number one at a lot of places, a lot of Power 5 good schools. He's a good receiver. He's their leading returning receiver. He's good. And I'm talking about a one, pure one. I don't know. I looked at all that film of Billy Kemp. He's good, but he's 5'9", 172, so he's not a prototypical one. And Xavier, if he's all in, he is that type. But, when he left, the issue was, I guess I've read burnout or just not willing to make the commitment to playing this level of football because it's a gigantic commitment. And now is he ready? Yeah, he's gonna have to do something in the classroom, do quite a bit in the classroom. He's gonna be okay with that. I think he will be smart. But there's a lot to that conversation. But I think he absolutely could be a starting receiver on game one.
Are you expecting more from him than our Isaiah Garcia Castaneda, who also announced surprisingly that he'll be back?
Well, yeah, I expect more from Xavier, and part because he's a lot better. He's just a better player when he's in it. I think Xavier Betts, like if he gets it to a point where he's all in, he's an NFL type receiver. I wouldn't say that about Isaiah Garcia Castaneda. He's good. He's fine. He's proven,
Yeah.
But it's a little different. When you're playing at New Mexico State in that league, and then now you're playing against Michigan, or Ohio State or Wisconsin. It's a different world. It is a different world. He didn't. When I say he's proven, I mean mainly at New Mexico State. He's somewhat proven at Nebraska, but he went away when he wasn't number one. Remember Mick's quote? He wanted to be number one. We couldn't do that for him. So that's what the portal's for. So I don't know, if he's had an attitude type change, or maybe he thinks he can be number one now. I think it's all about need. I think you take guys back like that when you need them. And Nebraska, that's an area of need.
And that's why I wonder, Sip, how readily will they be welcomed back into the locker room? If you want to be blunt, both quit on their team.
Yeah, that's okay. That's real talk, and it'll vary. Just like a lot of things in this world, not everybody's going to react the same. But there'll be some guys that aren't ready. But I think in this world now, in this day and age, it's more acceptable to quit, and people they make up nice euphemisms for it and kind of talk around it. Whereas back in the day, you just quit on your teammates, and a lot of guys just would say, "No, you ain't coming back." But the world's changed, and that's fine.
So, Sip, today is the last day then of being able to really decide, I guess, what you're doing in terms of the portal, and then the next time it's going to happen is May 1st through May the 15th. I guess what is most curious to you now in the coming months in terms of, assuming that today is the kind of the end of this road for Nebraska, what are you looking forward to seeing by the time we get to May 1st through May 15th? John and I mentioned it a little bit earlier. The quarterback room still having 6 guys on scholarship is definitely something that I am keeping my eye on. But with the loss of Walter Rouse, I also wonder what else they could do in terms of offensive line. What are you looking for?
Well, definitely both lines. I think you could say they still need upgrades on both sides. There was one point where we were looking at, wow, they're going to have Walter Rouse, probably, with a good chance to start at left tackle. And then you're going to have Micah Mazuka, the Baylor transfer, playing a guard, and Ben Scott playing center. Well, now, that's over. I don't know now who's available. That Walter Rouse thing is a joke. And so, by the way, is Micah Mazuka. Because a lot of those guys aren't, that's not a lot of guys out there like that.
Yep.
So I'm watching that, and I do, because I still think they need help up front on offense. And interior line is also where you look. They got Stephon Wynn back, and Nash Hutbacher, and Ty Robinson, of course. Ty Robinson being the bell cow of that group. But you need 2. I would think you need 2 or 3. 2 for sure. And I don't know. I don't know if that I don't know what that looks like in the portal, or what your chances are. They've done a pretty good job at receiver, and again, Betts and Garcia Castaneda presenting themselves that way really helps. If he didn't get that, you'd still be looking there. Other than that, they tried to get that tight end from Georgia, Brett Seether. They might still be looking for for a tight end. Fedoni, of course, will return. After that, you have Nate Borkature. They're pretty good, but you could use one or two more, one for sure. And they tried. I mean, they had Caesar on campus, and he was interesting. Another Georgia kid who just didn't play much at Georgia. Other than that, I'd say line, tight end. That's where I'd say that's the main thing. I don't think you need much. You don't need much in the secondary, if anything. You know you don't need anybody at running back. Linebacker, you could use some. If you could find a proven backup on the inside, the backup Reimer and Hendricks, who have both been injury prone, that would be good. So there is still work to be done there, and I suppose you could add at the end of middle of May when portal closes May 15th again, open from May 1 to May 15th. I wouldn't be surprised if that number goes from 10 now to 15 or 16.
Really? That many?
Yeah, I can be surprised at
all. Tonight could be a friends and family night at Pinnacle Bank Arena with the bad weather out there. Not sure how many folks are going to want to brave the elements to go out, especially with the team now, heading towards the struggle bus. Does this Nebraska ball season feel like it's teetering on the edge of falling off the cliff, or have they done enough to keep it from feeling as dark and despair as we've seen the last 3 years?
These discussions are hard. I just look at the schedule and it's unrelenting. And they lost Jawan Gary. You guys have talked a lot about that, and it's a big loss. And now, this will be tough. I mean, they could really use this win tonight, and then go down the stretch. At Penn State will be tough. Penn State, last I checked, was 38th, I guess, in the NET. They're good. Penn State's pretty good this year. Northwestern, I don't know what the hell they're doing. It looks like we're back in 2020 because there's kind of COVID thing there, and they're not playing. I don't know if that game will even happen. But then they go to Maryland and then Illinois. It's a tough back-to-back games. Maryland's not great, but come on. I mean, they're good enough. Then you get Penn State again at Michigan. See, it's just unrelenting. And the Gary, you've lost Gary. You can't really lose. I kept saying you can't lose Derek Walker, Gary, Vandemel, or Greasel. Well, they lost Gary. They didn't have Greasel last game. They will this game. And now you're going into these. You're going to Penn State, tough road trip coming up against a very physical team. What I'm getting at is it always feels like they're really, really climbing uphill. I mean, so I don't know. People want Fred to succeed. I mean, I'd say by and large. I get texts from people that are tired of it. But by and large, people want Fred to figure this out. And I think, John, I don't hear gloom and doom because there's still hopefulness. But we're not too far away from where you just don't have much hope. So we'll see. It just depends on what happens in the next few weeks.
All the good vibes of the early portion of the season really disappear if they lose a few more games in a row.
Yeah, I agree. Not next few weeks. I'd say the next 3 or 4 games.
People forget the last time Nebraska beat Creighton, the coach got fired at the end of the season. That happened.
That's true.
I'm not saying it'll happen this time. I'm just saying it did happen the last time.
And people forget about it.
Their demeanor is very reflective of the weather outside.
Hey, I'm just hoping my trees don't fall. That's all I'm asking for right now. Just
what I heard a little bit ago was that we're going to dodge it. In fact, I don't think it's doing anything right now.
No, it's not. It doesn't appear to be doing anything at the moment.
From what I've heard.
Hey, Sip, real fast. You're an old soul. Are you pulling hard for the Cowboys this weekend to remind you of the good old days?
What the hell?
I do like those shots of all those rich people in the box with Jerry Jones. So Jerry.
Him and Michael Irvin holding hands. It made me laugh so hard.
God.
I tell you what, I don't mind the Cowboys. I've always kind of liked them.
Because, God, Sip.
take,
this
Sip.
is your
I love you,
worst
man.
take ever.
Yeah, I've had a lot of bad ones, but I like Blue Bloods. I mean, I found myself I wanted Georgia to put it on TCU. I just kept rolling it up. And so I like the Cowboy. I like Americana Blue Blood.
Sad.
And that's.
Thank you, Nick.
I love it,
Nick.
Sip. I'm happy to have you on my side in this one. Go Cowboys.
I'm on your side. I do. I have nothing against those boys.
All right.
You triggered John. He is very triggered.
That's just a terrible take. It's just a terrible take. They are the original evil. They are evil. They are like rooting for syphilis, is what they are.
They're not. They're like,
I wanted to say something even worse than syphilis, but I decided to just hold it right there.
Okay, what? And because your team is the Rams.
Yeah.
They're traditional brand name, big market. I like them. I have no problem with the Rams. It's a very,
It just is odd to me as a guy who grew up a Raiders fan. I thought Raiders people were like, it's the Raiders and that's it. Everyone else is Raiders.
No,
Raiders. No. All right. Well, Sip, enjoy your Blue Bloods this weekend and your clam chowder.
I do have a strange hate. I legitimately, whenever I see this, I guess it's the uniforms. I can't stand that mustard yellow, and they were always same division as the Raiders. I do openly. I don't openly cheer too many teams, but I do the Chiefs.
Nice.
Steve Sipple, ladies and gentlemen, man of some of the people.
Uh-huh.
Have a good one, Sip.
Bye, Sip.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Hey, a reminder, a week from Friday, we're going to be at the Hope Lodge, Nebraska, just to the east of Children's Hospital and Methodist Hospital for our annual Creighton versus Cancer Pink Out Paper Drive. We're raising paper products like toilet paper, paper towels. Also, we'll take cash donations and gift cards for Hope Lodge, Nebraska, which is a place for cancer patients and their loved ones to stay for long-term life-saving treatment. This has been the annual benefactor of the Creighton versus Cancer Pink Out auction, which is also going on right now. Please give generously, and we will be there a week from Friday with some special guests and more. It's the Creighton versus Cancer Pink Out auction and the Hope Lodge Paper Drive broadcast a week from Friday. Connor Happer Show and this program right here from 1620 The Zone, where our good friend Mitch Holtis is coming up next.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Winter storm warnings will remain in effect until 6 o'clock Thursday morning. Heavy wet snow will be a part of the forecast throughout your Wednesday afternoon and evening. Snowfall rates could top as high as 1 inch to 2 inches per hour. Lighter snow possible throughout the overnight before tapering off by daybreak Thursday. 6 to 10 inches of snow possible for the Omaha Metro. I'm meteorologist Anthony Copeland for KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
Do something fun with the family. Come downtown and go to the auto show, January 20th through the 22nd at the CHI Health Center. Get inside the newest cars, trucks, and SUVs and see some of the hottest electric cars like the Hyundai Ioniq 5. Race a NASCAR remote control car. See beautiful classic cars and visit the Subaru Pet Adoption. Free admission for veterans on Friday. Get out and go to the auto show, January 20th through the 22nd. Find more at OmahaAutoShow.com.
Hey friends, Kent Pavelka here, back with John Higgins and the Rooferees at the Weather Guard showroom. Why would it be advisable for me to have you do my roof versus somebody else?
Well, integrity of myself and our employees, longevity, what we do here in the community, that has to go a long way, and I believe it does. We do what we say we're going to do, and if there is a problem, we're going to come back and fix it.
So make the right call, fans. When it comes time to replace your roof, your gutters, and siding, there's only one call to make. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
I had a nighttime routine for my frequent heartburn. I would drink milk, I would sleep upright with more pillows, but that painful burning stayed. So I made Prilosec OTC part of my morning routine. With just one pill each morning, Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid production, blocking heartburn day and night. Now I have a new nighttime routine. I call it sleeping.
One pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn. With Prilosec OTC. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Hi, I'm Nolan Sullivan, senior captain for Omaha Maverick Hockey. Omaha Hockey is coming off a home sweep. We've won 5 out of the last 6 at home, and because of you, we're ranked 4th in NCAA attendance. Get your tickets for the rest of the season and help us rock the Baxter. Please help us keep this momentum going as we try to earn home ice for the NCHC playoffs.
Get your tickets by calling 402-554-MAVS or by going to omavs.com/tickets.
What makes DJ's Dugout Omaha's #1 sports bar? Where do I start? Nick Hanley here for my friends at DJ's. I just love the atmosphere and friendly staff at DJ's. The minute you walk in, those huge media walls just absolutely grab your attention. Man, the NFL playoffs have been awesome to watch at DJ's too. It's absolutely the place to gather with friends to watch the big game as well. Delicious food, great atmosphere. For me, it's got to be DJ's Dugout. Locally in Vietnam, veteran-owned. Dig in at the Dugout.
Welcome to the After Hours Lounge on 1620 The Zone.
The head Maverick, Chris Crutchfield, is going to join us.
I was so happy with those guys because they hadn't won a road game in almost 2 years. I'm proud of what our guys did. We continued to fight throughout the game. It was a 2-possession game, and that's the biggest thing with our guys right now, just continue to compete.
Catch After Hours 6 to 8, Monday through Friday, or as the sports schedule allows. Brought to you by Payne West on 1620 The Zone.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson.
Good on you, David Duke. The basketball David Duke.
On 1620 The Zone.
You ready?
The most exciting announcer in professional football.
Picked off at the goal line. 20, 15, 10, 5. Jalen Watson.
Welcome to the Red.
Nobody can paint a picture with words quite like he can.
Will activate all 5 senses of your body. I think the rectal buzz that you get from the seat, maybe,
The man.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
The myth.
And the Chiefs Kingdom has firmly planted its flag on top of football's highest summit.
The legend of the Hy-Vee salad bar.
You want to chalk focus right now in the parking lot of the St. Joe Hy-Vee.
Mitch Holtis.
The Kansas City Chiefs are champions of Super Bowl 54.
And going for a 5th straight berth in the American Football Conference Championship game. Mitch Holtis, the voice of the Chiefs, joins us every Wednesday, brought to you by Hy-Vee. Good afternoon, Mitch.
Good afternoon, men, and good afternoon, Omaha, Council Bluffs, and all of the environs thereof. Yes, it's playoff time when you feel like you're entering a whole nother galaxy or solar system.
What would it mean for the Chiefs? It'd be a 5th straight bid. We would tie the Raiders of the 70s, John Madden, 5 straight. Of course, New England has the record. They have 8 straight. What would it say about this franchise if they were to get an 8th or 5th straight, knowing that obviously the bigger goal would be beyond that?
Well, hopefully the message has been given here with 5 straight 12-win seasons, which is second, I think, in NFL history. I mean, you're on these lists now. It's second, sometimes first. If you get to host this game, that hasn't happened. It hasn't happened to host 4 AFC championship games. That you would start to think this Andy Reid era of 10 years belongs in those discussions historically with the John Madden Raiders or the 49ers of George Seifert, and prior to that, Bill Walsh. I mean, that it has to be in that discussion because historically it very much compares.
Mitch, I was talking about it, I think it was yesterday, or maybe it was Monday, but that, when we first started bringing you on as a regular back in 2015, team hadn't even, made it to the divisional round in years. And then it was about, getting that home playoff game. Is there a part of you that still just kind of pinches yourself as you have gotten to see all of this up close over the last 5 years when we know that for a while it seemed like the Chiefs were kind of in the wilderness?
No question. And I think about it, if not every day, every several days. In fact, our 65 TPT in-house production crew, we just before I came on with you, was videoing a piece that we're going to put on social that they kind of asked me the same thing and kind of walked me back through history. When you go 21 seasons as the voice of the Chiefs with 0 playoff wins, and then you think that Patrick Mahomes is 8-3 since being a full-time starter in 2018, and that Andy Reid, if he wins this game on Saturday, will have 20 postseason wins. That will tie Tom Landry for the second most in NFL history. Not Lombardi, not Shula. It'll be Reid and Landry, only those two behind Bill Belichick. And yes, I'm thinking this is a whole level that I'm not even sure I could have dreamt of this scenario to be this good for this long at this level.
Feels like, Mitch, that the Jags will be playing with house money of sorts. Obviously, few thought they'd even make this point in the first place. But how does that, though, try to overcome the 12th man of Arrowhead Stadium on Saturday?
Well, I think this segues basically, my answer is going to segue back to the previous question, and that is Andy Reid brought this profound cultural change, which led to finally winning in the postseason, but it really got manifested in 2019 when the Chiefs were down by 20 points in the divisional playoff round and won the game. They were down with 6:15 to go in the Super Bowl by double digits and win the game. Same thing with the AFC Championship that year. And here are the Jags down 27-0. And I had all 4 teams that could be potential opponents, and I've got it all laid out. And I'm, and then all of a sudden I'm kind of shoving the Jags away going, wow, what a run to get to the AFC South title. And so the same thing happened. It's a cultural change brought about by Doug Peterson, who comes from the Andy Reid tree, was with us for 3 seasons. So you see the same thing happening with Jacksonville and an opponent that must be taken seriously. Now, the crowd becomes, to me, the biggest thing you have in this game. Yes, you got Mahomes and Kelsey, but this is a young Jaguar team. They were here in week 10, so it's not like it's going to be culture shock for them, but it's the playoffs, and it'll be even louder than week 10 in a noon game on a Sunday. It's going to be cranked up. And so but the Jags have shown the poise to be, at least give it a shot to handle it, but it's going to be a warp speed level of loudness.
Mitch, what have you seen from Trevor Lawrence over the last couple of weeks, going back to the Week 18 matchup versus Tennessee? Obviously, last week versus the Chargers, because it's so often I feel like we say with a young player, specifically a young quarterback, like, oh man, the moment got to them, and that was maybe some of the excuses over the last couple of weeks. How much of it was that? How much of it was good scheme? How much of it was him not playing well? And I wonder what you think that could mean for Saturday afternoon.
Well, the big difference, and I'm going to, if I was wrong, I wouldn't bring it up. But since I'm right, I'm like a politician. I'll bring it up. And I saw the Tennessee Titans. We played them in week 9. Then we played the Jags in week 10. So we saw them back to back. And I'd done the deep dive and let's dig into them and look at these teams, at a deep depth. And I told Matt McMullen, our senior team reporter, I said, ooh, look out here. The Jags are 3-7, but I could see a slip and surge. And I don't know if were the Titans up by 3 games then or 2 games, but I don't think maybe next year, but I wouldn't look past this thing to be a slip and surge, meaning the Titans slipping and the Jags surging. So here they go. Now I'm answering the question that way because part of the surge for Trevor Lawrence has been the reduction of giveaways. He was giving the way at Phillip Rivers level of giving up the ball. He still leads the league in fumbles lost. He's had 39 giveaways in his 2 years as Jaguar quarterback. And you think, well, last year was a disaster. Yeah, he only has 8 interceptions, but the big difference was his growing trust in Doug Peterson's system and his growing trust in his receiving core and the reduction of turnovers. Evan Ingram, the former New York Giant tight end, has become, I think, a little bit of a Kelsey-ish type player and a security blanket for him. that we've seen Zay Jones and Marvin Jones Jr. and around the horn with their receiving core and Christian Kirk. Well, they gave him all the money to reset the wide receiver market. That was dumb. Well, no, it isn't, because Christian Kirk has been one of the most productive top 3 receivers in the last half of the regular season. So it's all these factors, but it's mainly that Trevor Lawrence isn't turning the ball over like he was. Now, that sounds like a contradiction because of his 4 interceptions in the first half against the Chargers. But those came off one of the big keys for the Chiefs in this game against Trevor Lawrence. But to answer your question, the big difference in getting them to this point, the reduction of giveaways by Trevor Lawrence at quarterback.
And to your point, Mitch, after week 10 and the defeat of Jacksonville, they were 3 games back of Tennessee. So things turned around.
I'm telling you, you can ask Matt McMullen. You can have him on the show tomorrow. He'll tell you, yep, you said slip and surge, and I don't know what you saw, but I go, these 2 teams we could see a 180 in these 2 teams by Christmas, and that's what happened.
A lot of folks seem to be expecting a shootout. They label these offenses. Obviously, the Chiefs have a great offense, and Jacksonville's offense is the strength of their team. But are they maybe underestimating the defenses a little bit, especially come playoff time?
Yeah, no question. And I wouldn't agree with that, honestly. After studying both of these defenses, the Jacksonville defense, when I went back and looked at my notes from week 10, and I just put young and feisty. And now it's young and feisty 2.0. They have 27 takeaways, you guys. That is 4th in the league in the regular season. They had 13 fumble recoveries. Only Dallas had more. They had points off takeaways. Only New England had more. And in their pressure rate in this surge that they made after being 3-7, their pressure rate of getting after enemy quarterbacks is second only to the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a defense that has grown. And I keep hearing the word trust from around here. Like we respect the Jaguar defense big time, but it's for the Chiefs taking care of the ball. The Chiefs had giveaways in that first game. There was a Jody Fortson fumble on a pooch kick. Pacheco had a fumble. Mahomes threw an interception, and then there was an onside kick recovery by the Jags. So in essence, like 4 turnovers, the Chiefs were able to win, but you may not be able to win this game this week if that happens. So the Chiefs have to be ready against a young and feisty defense that likes to pry the ball from your fingers.
Mitch, sticking with the Chiefs offense, obviously all of our eyes will be on Patrick Mahomes, but a couple of playoff games for the first time for players, whether it's, overall in playoff history or just the first playoff game with Kansas City for some of the skill guys. Who are you looking out for in particular in this one versus Jacksonville?
Well, it'd be collectively the receiving core, but it can't be a single person. It's going to be as a group. The other thing is to bring up how Jerick McKinnon at running back has been phenomenal. And I've talked about him with you guys for the last 5 to 6 weeks, but he knows how to play with Mahomes. We talk about Kelsey knowing how to play with Patrick Mahomes. Well, so can Jerick McKinnon. And Coach just told me today, we were in the same discussion. He goes, well, he was a quarterback. He kind of knows. He was a legitimate college quarterback at Georgia Southern. So when to block, when to run, when to scramble and shadow and get open, which he does at uncanny levels, and then when to block. Like he knows what to do, when to do it, and do it better right now than anybody in the league. So McKinnon just a huge weapon going into this postseason. And then with Kelsey, 12 touchdowns in the postseason. Only Jerry Rice he's got 22, and McGronk's got like 15. But you're looking at Kelsey with his playoff numbers going to heights where only Jerry Rice is ahead of him in a couple of categories. Pretty crazy. I know 100-plus playoff catches and the amount of touchdowns. Only Jerry Rice is ahead of Travis Kelsey. So I take all that. I'm giving you a big, long answer, but there's no one single person. But the young receiving core who haven't had a lot of playoffs. Juju Smith-Schuster hasn't won a playoff game. And Marquez Valdes-Scantling won 2. The most is McCole Hardman. Hardman's had the best playoff record and productivity of any of that receiving core. So, yeah, you got to have some guys step up in the vastly faster realm of the playoffs.
Mid-afternoon, 3:30 kick, right? I used to know these playoff times by heart.
3:30 kick, but I'm going to give you my stat of the night for you guys.
All right.
And this is a big key, and just watch this happen. Trevor Lawrence has a problem with deflected passes. The most devastating defensive play that we don't give enough credit to is what the Chiefs' defensive front seven has been spectacular at this year. The Chiefs' front seven has 33 passes defensed that are not from defensive backs. Carlos Dunlap has 8, who, by the way, has played 13 years and never won a playoff game. I'm going to find him if the Chiefs win this game and hug his neck, because I went 21 years without winning one. George Karlaftis has 7 deflections. Chris Jones, it's what he does. And Trevor Lawrence has an unusual amount of those. Think of the Charger game. 3 of his 4 picks were off deflections at the line of scrimmage or near the line of scrimmage. It's a big part because right now, in the NFL, at least at the end of the season, only 2 quarterbacks were getting rid of the ball faster than Trevor Lawrence. So it's coming out fast. You're not going to get to him to sack him, but you can deflect or alter the physics of the throw by getting and disrupting passing lanes.
Watch for the deflections on Saturday.
Absolutely.
And, of course, we'll have a coverage on News Talk 1290, Mitch's call of Chiefs, Jaguars, AFC Divisional Playoff. Mitch, thanks. Good luck. And we may be talking yet again next week about a 5th straight AFC Championship game.
Let's hope so. But the Chiefs got a lot of work to do Saturday afternoon.
Amen. Mitch Holtis, brought to you by Hy-Vee, official grocery partner
Mitch.
of the Kansas City Chiefs. When we come back, Blue Jays get a big win last night. We have Mike Shafer also coming up here on Unsportsmanlike Conduct in 1620 The Zone.
1620 The Zone wants you to win Gary's booty. Whoa, wait, what? Win $100 or more every weekday on Mornings with Sharp and Hanley. Listen during the 6 and 8 o'clock hours for Gary and Nick to give you their stat of the day. Then during the 7 and 9 a.m. hours, listen for the cue to call, know the stat, and win a buttload of cash. Answer it correctly, and Gary's booty gets even bigger. Yep, we'll keep adding $100 to the booty bank till the correct answer's given on air. Win your share of Gary's booty on Mornings with Sharp and Hanley with 1620 The Zone.
John Bishop here for McCarthy's 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. The folks who are always on time or you don't pay a dime. And right now is a good time to get in touch with McCarthy's in brand new year. Join that McCarthy's Comfort Club and get discounts on repairs. You get priority service, meaning if things get busy, you get to move to the front of the line. And more importantly, you get a twice annual inspection of your furnace and your AC. That's important because you want to make sure that your furnace and AC are going to work throughout the entire peak heating and cooling seasons. Just like anything else, you get your car checked every year, get the oil changed, you check major appliances around the house, but do you do that for your furnace or your AC? If you don't, you should. Well, McCarthy's takes the guesswork out of it. Visit McCarthy's1hour.com. Join that comfort club today, and you'll have peace of mind knowing that your furnace and AC are going to work longer, faster, harder, and better and more efficiently throughout the year. McCarthy's1hour.com. Remember, at McCarthy's 1 Hour Heating and Air, they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. McCarthy's1hour.com.
It's the lowest month-to-month rate of the year with no contract and no enrollment fees at Genesis Health Clubs. It won't get any lower than this, and enrollment fees are waived to celebrate 2023. This offer has been extended for a limited time. Hi, I'm Rodney Stephen. It's the new year, and you've set your New Year's resolutions, right? Well, it's time to go. I have good news and bad news for you. The bad news is, if you don't get started, your New Year's resolutions won't happen, and you'll be in the same place next year. You have to take that first step and build habits that will change your life forever. One of my favorite quotes is, if it is to be, it is up to me. And that is absolutely true. And we know you can do it. We'll help you every step of the way. We help hundreds of thousands of people reach their fitness goals each year. And what about you this year? Join Genesis Health Clubs for our lowest month-to-month rate that we'll offer in all of 2023. Plus, no enrollment fees and no contracts. Offer extended. Act now. It will not get any better than this. Join at GenesisHealthClubs.com now because this special won't last. This offer has been extended for a limited time.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit ubt.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
From sales to service, the Woodhouse team provides insights and solutions to get you on the road faster and keep you on it. And if you're looking for the extras like accessories, extended warranties, or service contracts, they've got those also. Plus, they'll tailor the experience to you, from shopping and buying at home or the more traditional route at one of the 18 conveniently located dealerships, bringing you more every time. Shop with Woodhouse.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
NRG Media in Omaha is growing. We're looking for an account executive to present and sell marketing campaigns to local businesses. We're also looking for a client marketing coordinator to help our account executives create and execute marketing campaigns backed by excellent customer service. NRG is also looking for a sales assistant to help with the behind-the-scenes details that keep everything running smoothly. For information on each of these positions, go to nrgmedia.com and click careers. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
Well, last night the Jays exercised a demon of sorts by winning at Hinkle Fieldhouse, a place that has been very unkind. In all of the years the Jays have been in the Big East Conference, only 2 road venues have been tougher. Or the 2 road venues have been the toughest. Not Providence, not Xavier, not Marquette. It has been Villanova,
best team in the league,
twice, and Butler.
Yeah, not the best team in the league.
And Butler's been good, but they've not been Villanova. But for some reason, this series has always tilted heavily towards the home team. Butler's only won once in Omaha. Creighton has only won twice in Hinkle until last night, and the Jays won by pulling away, and it was the epitome of a team effort. You had 6 different guys with 8 or more points. No one had more than 12. You had 3 players with actually, if you want to go back a little bit, you had 4 players with 6 or more rebounds. And defensively, even though Butler was 8 of 14 from 3, they were only 12 of 44 from 2. Which was sub 30%.
That ain't going to get it done, John.
Sub 30%.
Yeah.
You have to hit a lot more than 8 threes to be able to overcome that. And it was, I wondered if the game on Saturday against Providence, even though they're different teams, maybe provided a bit of a blueprint, because it was the same against Providence. Jays didn't hit a lot of threes. They were only 3 of 16. Last night they were 7 of 22, but they made a concerted effort to score in the paint.
Yep.
Now, the difference last night to last Saturday was the Jays got beat up on the glass against Providence, whereas last night Creighton doubled up or almost doubled up Butler on the glass, 47-24. They had a, 13-3 edge on the offensive glass, which led to a 14-6 edge in second chance points. So that was part of it. But it was defending the 2-point field goal and making Butler very inefficient. Seamus Lukosius, who had 18 points, he was 7 of 12. The rest of the team went 13 for 46.
Yeah, and the thing that I really took note of last night was the strong finish to the first half and how they kind of, stiff-armed them a little bit to begin the second before adding to their lead again. It was 26-24, Creighton with the lead, right around the final media timeout with 4:06 to go. After that, they outscored them 10-4, and then they really stretched out the lead in the middle portion of the second half. And, like you said, the 3-point shooting, again, I mean, it is what it is, I think, at this point in time. I guess it's odd for me to maybe find a silver lining of at least they're not shooting it a ton from three anymore, 22 attempts. What did you say it was Saturday? 16 attempts?
3 of 16.
3 of 16 on Saturday. So, they're not shooting it as much from the three, or at least they haven't in the last couple of games. But I thought that the game was going to look kind of like it did, a rock fight at times. In Bet of the Day yesterday, I went with the under in this one, just knowing how these two teams, the games always look the same, it seems. The difference is sometimes they're like in the day and you have the shadows and the sun peeking through at Hinkle. But again, this has been such a weird year, and I feel like week to week we're having a lot of the same conversations about them. It's just, are they following wins or are they following losses? And right now, as we're talking, they're following a couple of wins again. But I thought that the finish of the first half specifically, I thought that was, really good, and to add to it in the second half and kind of allow themselves to coast to a victory, which we haven't really seen a whole lot from them as of late.
Well, we wondered aloud a few weeks ago when they were really struggling from three during this course of the 6-game losing streak, if they needed to change how they were. And yeah, teams are going under screens now. They're sticking to shooters better. They're making it more difficult for Creighton to, get really good looks. And so they've made, last night, 12 of the first 16 points were in the paint. They made a concerted effort to go into the paint early and often. And this again is where last night was so promising. Normally when you think they're scoring in the paint, you're thinking, oh, Ryan Kalkbrenner had a big game. They had 11 points, 9 rebounds, but that was it. Now Fred King added 8 more, and that was the other part of the game, was seeing the production off the bench. You had Farabello and King each contribute 8 points each off the bench. It's the best bench production they've had in a long time. But, it was Trey Alexander getting inside. It was Arthur Kaluma working inside. The continuation of Baylor Shireman, of dribbling into the post to, either try to get mismatches in the post, trying to post, up smaller defenders who are on him. And it's changed the way that, Creighton has looked a little bit. So they've had to adjust.
Yep.
They're still going to want to shoot the three and they're still going to try it. But they know now that if teams are going to continue to go under screens, they're going to have to find other ways to score. They have been able to do that now in back-to-back games, and it has paid off handsomely. And now you're set up in a spot where, again, you have some winnable games coming up. You can get on a little bit of a run here and build up a lot of momentum before you start to host some of those top division teams at your place. UConn still has to come to Omaha. Marquette still has to come to Omaha. Xavier still has to come to Omaha. Jay still have to go to Providence. But you get 3 out of those top 4 teams, if you will, all coming to Omaha. So it's a chance for them to kind of rebuild their season, albeit it maybe hasn't gone totally to script, but the way they've played defense, the last couple of games.
They're going to have a chance in all these games, John.
They're exactly. And so you're starting to see, a little bit of the grit of last year's team start to come back into play. Now, listen, last night's bench production notwithstanding, they need more of that as it continues. Hopefully last night wasn't a one-off deal. Maybe you can continue to get that. King was able to take care of a huge mismatch when Butler brought in their backup freshman center, Turnbull, who just got completely owned on 3 straight possessions by Fred King. You got to take advantage of those opportunities when you can get them. If you can continue to get that and buy a little time. Now, Creighton's going to have the next 8 days off. They don't play until a week from tonight, but this is going to be the last real break. And then
and then it's pedal to the metal.
Pedal to the metal, and with the starters, getting the minutes that they've been getting, they're going to have to really maximize this week in terms of R&R and kind of getting everything straightened out, because it is going to be a grind the rest of the season, even though the schedule is a little bit more manageable than the first half of the schedule.
Yeah, and one more thing. We're going to have Greg McDermott on the show next week on Friday when we're at the Hope Lodge, and one of the things, that we could certainly ask him is, how do you use this maybe last stretch of time off? How did you use it? Because at that time, it'll be in the past. It's kind of that final kind of tinkering and ramping up before, like you said, the stretch run, because after that it is go, go, go. And then you're looking at the conference tournament, and, we'll see what happens, but potentially the NCAA tournament as well. So this is that last kind of vestige of not really, just practicing and kind of focusing on yourself before you get back to the rest of the season.
And if you missed our coverage last night, we found out that Ryan Nembhard had been under the weather the last week. He'd lost as much as 8 pounds, got an IV before the game last night. And then he goes out and has a career-high 11 rebounds to go with 12 points. So it was a nice bounce back for him. It was really good to see, and hopefully he'll be feeling more like himself as next week approaches, because that will be huge as well for the Jays. But a big win at Butler. It's always nice to have a happy flight home instead of a sad flight home.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up next, Mike Shafer will join us. More on Dylan Raiola and recruiting and maybe a postmortem on the Vikings if he wants to talk. If he doesn't, we understand.
All right.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the time-saving traffic center, things moving fairly smoothly around the metro right now, if not, albeit a little bit slow. Still working on getting that accident cleaned up on the left shoulder of I-29 South at exit 47, as well as the accident on the left shoulder at I-80 West and the 72nd Street exit number 449. Along with that, we're seeing slowdowns going both ways on Dodge, as well as both ways on I-80 going both east and west through the Omaha Metro. Remember to keep those seatbelts buckled. I'm Dan Campanen.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
The Nebraska Lottery has raised over $908 million, which has helped to provide more than 117,000 college scholarships, save wildlife habitats across the state, and fund new facilities at the Nebraska State Fair. The Nebraska Lottery, helping to build a better Nebraska.
By now, you know that sound. It's the sound of the Home Depot. But what about that sound? You're listening to a set of GE appliances, complete with all you need to keep food fresh, dishes clean, and everything else stress-free. Making this the sound of savings on top brand appliances. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. Final days to get up to 25% off select GE appliances. Ends January 25th. Offer valid January 5th through January 25th, 2023. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Nick Handley here for my friends at DJ's Dugout. There's so much going on in sports now. Pro football playoffs, college and pro basketball, college and pro hockey, and more. DJ's Dugout is an Omaha tradition to gather with family and friends to cheer for your team. Great food and tall beers, too. Man, love me some of those. Voted Omaha's #1 sports bar and my favorite, too. 7 metro area locations. DJ's Dugout is locally and Vietnam veteran-owned. Dig in at the Dugout.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Need a side hustle or career change? Now you can get certified to repair mobile devices in just 1 week. At the Metropolitan Community College Mobile Device Repair Academy, you can earn a national certification at our 1-week boot camp. Learn the skills you need to become certified and apply them during a 2-month internship. You may be eligible for special tuition funding. Classes start soon and space is limited. For more information or to enroll, visit mccneb.edu/mobile repair.
Omaha Maverick basketball is in the middle of conference play and scheduled to make a run this season. Come see all the action at Baxter Arena as your Omaha Mavericks try to rise to the top of the Summit League. Let's pack the Baxter. Get your Omaha Maverick men's and women's basketball single game tickets for all upcoming Summit League action at the Baxter Arena box office by calling 402-554-MAVS or at omavs.com/tigs.
When you order food for work on EasyCater.com, we've got your back. Real humans are here to help with your order every step of the way, making sure everything goes right, even behind the scenes without you knowing. Confirming and double confirming with the restaurant that everything is on track. If there's a problem,
thanks for calling EasyCater.
call us anytime, day or night, and we'll answer in seconds. We're right here with 100,000 restaurants, working hard to ensure the food arrives on time and is ordered. Order 24/7 at EasyCater.com.
Omaha Maverick women's basketball welcomes the South Dakota State Jackrabbits to Baxter Arena on Thursday night. Tip-off is set for 7:05 p.m. Hear all of the Omaha women's action against Summit League rival South Dakota State at 7 p.m. on Thursday on 1180 The Zone.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit ubt.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring. Starting wage is up to $20.10 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/career. Again, apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
Creighton coverage on the zone is presented by Berry Law. At Berry Law, we fight alongside those who choose to fight back. Call Berry Law at 402-999-7777 or visit berrylawfirm.com. At Berry Law, we're in it to win it.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Greeting, Earthlings. We have now taken over your radio.
Mike Shafer.
See, I would argue, because I like to argue,
we all underestimated how hard it is to, one, win college football game, and two, transition and take over a program.
Mike Shafer.
I was trying to kindly tell Mr. Bishop the Vikings have a chance to surprise some people, and I think that they could even win the division.
Mike Shafer.
It doesn't seem like the kind of book where they would be hooked on meth. That got dark.
Mike Shafer.
Well, there he is, Mike Shafer of Husker 24/7. Shafe, I'm sorry about the Vikings. It's another early playoff exit, but at the end of the day, it's better to be in the playoffs than not in the playoffs at all, right?
I couldn't agree more, and I'm going to deflect from that to just point out that the only thing more empty than the Vikings trophy chase is the studio of which 1620 is recorded, aside from poor Nick, who's there by himself, like a Vikings fan, hoping, waiting, wishing, sad.
It was pretty funny yesterday, Shafe, because our boss emailed like, hey, everybody, the weather's going to be really bad, so maybe you guys should do the show from home. Nick, I can pick you up if you would like.
Oh, that's ride to work with your boss day?
Yeah.
Wow.
How was that ride to work, by the way?
It was fine this morning. It was mostly to get me home and then maybe pick me up tomorrow if my car was still here, but he just left. The roads look okay. He said if it gets too bad, he can come back. But
so you did drive to work, Nick?
I drove to work.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
This morning it was fine. I come here at like 9.
Oh,
okay. I just saw a tweet from producer Josh of the Connor Happer show that said, road report, it snowed, plows came, Cars drove on snowy roads. Snow has been pushed to the curbs. Now it's raining. The snow is blocking the water from getting to the drains. Streets are pooling up with water big time. Those will be sheets of ice tonight.
Well, that's good.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I love ice.
I mean,
Shafer,
basically, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, are you going to the game tonight, Shafe? One of our listeners actually just texted in. Alex in Lincoln wants to know, are you going to the Nebraska game?
I haven't decided yet. I would say leaning towards no at this point, but the roads aren't terrible in Lincoln. Obviously, Lincoln hasn't gotten any snow, but I think they're going to be pretty bad tonight in terms of ice.
Yep.
And there's a part of me that if I'm going to get in an accident and ice is involved, I don't know if it needs to be coming back from Nebraska basketball playing Ohio State. So I'm sort of like, I'm looking at it as a opportunity thing, or like an opportunity cost, or whatever the philosophical thing of this would be. And I just don't know that it's worth the potential there when I could just turn the game on and experience a potential loss just like everybody else, except doing it from home.
Yeah, watch the game with Kevin Kugler on the call and then let him stress about driving home in the snow and the ice.
I think that's fair. Is he not staying with you? Are you guys not reenacting your roommate days?
We were never roommates. B,
I thought that you were roommates for some reason.
I know.
That was the whole thing. Like, that you guys like roomed together and went on to be the respected voices of programs and networks and everything else.
No, never did.
Did you live on the same floor?
No, never lived in the same house. I helped him move a couple of times, which was an adventure in and of itself.
Did you even attend the same college?
Yes, we went. Not all 25,000 people that go to the University of Nebraska live together. It's not like a giant commune.
This feels like one of those Berenstein Bear things where, like, that's how I'm going to pronounce it, because no one says Berenstain Bears. So
I always used to say Berenstain Bears.
Yeah, it was always Berenstein.
Multiverse
and then, we had this whole discussion with Stibbs that one day, and like a total like rabbit hole you could fall down on those things.
Hey, speaking of rabbit holes, Shafe, are you excited that the Calabrasca movement is back?
Is it back?
Oh yeah, Tony White tweeted about it today. #Calabrasca.
Okay, all right. I didn't know that it was officially back.
It's a movement.
I'll say this, and I might have mentioned it one of the previous times that John just chose not to do his job, and I sat in his chair. Well, not really his chair, but a chair.
A chair that is now empty, by the way. You can see it right there on the screen.
What a beautiful chair. So I had multiple high school coaches in California reach out when Tony White was hired, because they want to see Nebraska back there recruiting their kids. And he's a really popular coach at those high schools. I mean, when he was at San Diego State and Arizona State, was a fixture at a lot of those schools. And he's someone that is regarded as, one of them, even though he's an El Paso guy. He's a Texas guy. He went and played at UCLA, but he's regarded as one of them. So I'm not surprised. He did, Tony White did tell me that he expects Nebraska to get more involved in California, and he's certainly going to try to do his part with that out there. But he's going to be welcomed, by a number of coaches. One, because they like him, and two, I mean, the Nebraska brand is still strong in California. I mean, there's this the revisionist effort to basically say that only soft and weak players come from the West Coast was dumb at the time. It remains dumb now. And that's still very much a state where they could get one or two players every year. And Los Angeles being an area where Tony White has connections, I expect him to get one or two players every year.
Well, I mean, it's the city of champions. People forget that. So why wouldn't
the city of rain indoors?
Rain indoors and champions. Speaking of states, obviously, there's been a concerted effort. You got a tight ends coach, a wide receivers coach, both very direct Texas ties, new front office people. Texas seems to be like very much on the radar. And certainly, Matt Rule was very comfortable recruiting there before when he was at Baylor, naturally. My question is this: was that something that Nebraska just assumed they couldn't do prior, and that's why they kind of, seemingly backed out? Did they get pushed back? Or do you think that maybe Matt Rule is taking a bit of a chance trying to go back into Texas, knowing that it's harder to get players out of Texas to play in the Big Ten?
I think it just has more to do with where your coaches have connections. I mean, I think you look at Travis Fisher and Sean Beckton, and that opened up Georgia in a way that, previously Nebraska hadn't had as much success going into Atlanta and getting kids out of Georgia. Obviously, early on in the Frost tenure, they went very hard in Florida because of connections that they had down there. But they also went right to Texas right away. I mean, Cameron Jones was one of the earliest commitments. They tried, Greg Austin had connections down in Houston and was trying to get offensive linemen out of there. It didn't necessarily work out how they wanted. It's just a matter of chasing, where your coaching staff has connections. I mean, Garrett McGuire's connections are largely in the state of Texas. And, that makes sense for him to be there. Bob Wager's connections are largely in the state of Texas. It makes sense for him to be there. Matt Rule is still well regarded in the state of Texas. It makes sense to continue to recruit there. So I think because of that, it sort of opens the door. And then, it's not that Nebraska ever stopped recruiting Texas. It just wasn't the emphasis that Georgia became or Florida was. And so I think that it's a lot to do with that. I mean, when you emphasize something, and Bo Pelini to a degree, I mean, they did it early on, and then I felt like they, when I look back at it now, it felt like they really swung too hard on the Ohio Rust Belt thing. Like they really felt like their connections with that coaching staff was going to allow them to go into Ohio, and it didn't really work how they wanted to. And you look back, 2011, it was the last time that I believe that they took more than 4 players in 1 year out of the state of Texas. And that was the last year, that recruiting class was the last year of the Big 12. So I think that kind of tells a little bit of the story. I mean, they had some years where you got 2 or 3. I think there was 1 year of 4 in there in 2014, the second, the last full recruiting class for Bo and company. So, Tim Beck had his connections down in Texas. So I think that Nebraska never completely stopped recruiting it. They just chose to put more of their chips elsewhere. And this staff is putting a lot of their chips in that state because they just have connections to utilize there. What'll be interesting is, do they build a pipeline that then becomes where it's the expectation that you're getting 5, 6, 7, 8 kids a class out of that state? I'm very interested to see if they do that. Now, this feels like it comes a little bit at the expense of something. So then I wonder, do we see a lot less of Georgia? Do we see less of Louisiana? And I think that we're going to. And it's not because there aren't good players there. It's just that if you're going to spend more of your time in the state of Texas, it has to come from something. And I still think they're going to spend time in Florida. I think they're going to spend time in California. I think they're going to spend a little time in Georgia, but not as much and not as many coaches, and, a lot more in Texas. So I think a long-winded answer there. I would expect them to be very involved, especially moving forward.
Shay, speaking of Texas, we found out yesterday that they offered another wide receiver out of Texas, Jeremiah Charles. He has, it looks like the only other offer right now is North Texas. I was perusing, I believe it was Bruns who wrote the story. I was perusing some of the comments from Husker fans. It was a little hit and miss on this one, just given again that he is a no star. What do you make of this offer?
Yeah, I mean, it's Bryce Turner, right? Like that was Bay City, Texas. That's an incredibly fast athlete. Aren't we looking at the same thing here? I mean, this is a guy that I believe, has pretty solid track times. And so I think that's sort of what we're looking at with this staff. And they're clearly changing over this roster to a larger degree than we expected, because I didn't think they'd be looking at this many, high school kids in after that early signing period. And then with Bob Wager, you have the connection to that school. So it all kind of just sort of lines up where they see someone that they think is a developmental athlete that can absolutely fly, and that they're going to take a shot on it. If it doesn't work, he'll be in the portal in 2 years and they'll have, their answer. But with what's available, they basically deemed that this is someone that they want to at least, take a shot here with. And so he's going to come up for a visit, and I think it would be a pretty quick commitment after that.
Is the lesson from Walter Rouse that even though they've been through the proverbial ringer and they're a couple of years older than their high school aged counterparts, that transfers can be just as flaky, impulsive, and indecisive?
Yeah, well, I mean, so the lesson here is that a person is a person is a person, regardless of what label we put on them. I mean,
Right.
how indecisive do any of us get when it comes to picking out where we're going to go for dinner at a given night? So indecisiveness can manifest itself in a lot of forms. He felt strongly about Nebraska, and he felt strongly about Oklahoma. He initially chose Nebraska. I'm sure Oklahoma didn't stop recruiting him. And whatever the magic combination of words was, it flipped him over to Oklahoma. And that's the reality of it. And Nebraska's not the only school to experience that this cycle. It's unfortunate because I think Walter Rouse would be a really big one-year pickup, and it would have really helped with their offensive line and could have helped in a variety of ways. But I think that people just have to understand and be comfortable with that. Honestly, I don't know what you guys have necessarily seen, but at least from my own message board, I think people are sort of, unhappy that it happened. But I don't know that it like shook anybody to the degree that they can't believe that it happened. It's just the reality of this is kind of what you're going to get. And especially with transfer portals, it's not like you sign anything, you're just showing up when you show up. And he hadn't shown up at Nebraska and hadn't completely enrolled. And that made him open game to go to Oklahoma.
I don't know. I kind of looked at it, I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised. I guess it was the nature of, he did basically the car wash of interviews and, sounded very, very positive. And then all of a sudden, less than, 48 hours or 48 hours ish later, boom, he just, he leaves for another place and it's like, oh, I'm going to go here instead. I guess that was the only thing that was a little bit jarring, but we've seen it before. So that's why I wasn't surprised.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be as simple as he basically just decided after committing to Nebraska and he thought on it some more. And, he just felt like maybe Oklahoma was the spot that he needed to be in. Maybe somebody came through with a big NIL offer. I don't know. But ultimately he made that decision, and it won't be the first and it won't be the last of guys that say one thing and end up doing another when it comes time to actually enroll.
Shafe, the weekly Dylan Raiola question for you. I know that Dominic talked to Steve Wiltfong this week for 24/7 Sports. Here's my question, because I've had a lot of people ask me, sometimes family members, sometimes friends, like, why would Dylan want to come play for Nebraska? And I guess the way it's always asked to me is more of is this just kind of like a token interest based off of his dad? Like, what do you know about the relationship that Dylan has had with Nebraska over the years, if anything?
Well, so I think there's an intoxication to the idea that this was a place that used to really mean something in college football. And it clearly did to his dad. And he grew up around that. And I think that's in his DNA. I think he can fully understand that in that regard. And then throw in the fact that he would have that opportunity to go somewhere and be part of why that turnaround happens. Like, that can be intoxicating, in its own way. But I've wondered it too. And when Dominic is the one giving quotes about Nebraska, I would rather have read that story. And this isn't any sort of indictment on anything, because you're going to run whatever you get from whoever you get when you're talking about the number one player in the country. I want to hear more of Dylan talking about Nebraska.
Yeah, me too.
Because he talked about Georgia and their national title. And so, and I think I like Nebraska deeply, but I just don't know that that's going to be enough. And I don't know that it being his dad's school is enough. And I don't know that his uncle being involved is enough. Like, I think Matt Rule has to find something, whatever it is. Maybe it's, this year he watches an explosive offense with Jeff Sims and he thinks, that could be me. Maybe he gets here for spring ball and he sees a different energy and a different attitude around the team. And he thinks, Matt Rule is here for the long haul. And this is a guy that can have success. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it is exactly that he's looking for, but I know that when you're trying to recruit the number one player in the country and he's a quarterback to boot, it's really hard. And when the alternatives for him include every other school under the sun, it makes it that much harder.
Mike Shafer, Husker247.com. All right, Shafe, you're in the boat with most of the rest of us. We're all just watching the rest of the playoffs and rooting against Dallas.
Yeah, I don't know that Dallas is the number one team that I'd be rooting against here.
Thank you.
Another terrible, terrible take, ladies and gentlemen.
Well,
it's 2 today.
I don't know what to tell you.
Who are you rooting against the most?
Yeah, who are you rooting against the most?
I mean, so there's no team where it's just, there's no Packers here. So,
yeah, you don't have Green Bay.
I think it comes down to who am I least wanting to see win the trophy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Eagles and the Chiefs are right there at the top for me. Now, at the same time, the Chiefs end up there because I want to see the Bills the Bills are number one. So if only one of those two teams gets to play for a title. So it sort of works opposite of each other in that regard. And then the Bengals are probably second. And then we probably get to the Giants. And then it's, a coin flip between Dallas and San Francisco. I don't have any real affinity for either of those teams. I have a hard time seeing Dallas. Sorry, Josh. I have a hard time seeing Dallas win 3 straight road games to get to the Super Bowl. I have a hard time seeing Dak not have an implosion game, getting to that Super Bowl. So they're right in the middle of the pack for me. But I think the 3, at the top are basically the Bills, the Bengals. So the winner of that game by default becomes the team that I will root for. And then probably the Giants right after that.
All right, there he is, Mike Shafer, ladies and gentlemen. Shafe, if you do decide to venture out tonight, be careful and drive carefully, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, sounds good, guys.
There he is, Mike Shafer of Husker 24/7.
Bye, Nick.
Speaking of, there's Nick all by himself in the studio. It's nice. It's nice that the 2 chairs are kind of pushed back too, so it's obvious you can see how empty they are.
It's a very empty studio today, Nick. But look, I see the cars. That said, I can see, John, that the roads look slick from here. I can see the reflection when the cars are driving in the middle lane. Oh no. I
have to drive
Glad
home.
we're not out in it.
Me too.
Glad we're not out in it. Speaking of the NFL divisional playoffs, we've got our NFL hot take market coming up. And speaking of the NFL divisional playoffs, friends, it is time. We've been telling you this all football season, but make FanDuel your number one go-to if you want to bet NFL playoffs, because with FanDuel, every play can be a rush. And right now you can get a no-sweat same-game parlay during the divisional round, and it does not matter if you're new to FanDuel or already have an account. Just remember, when you sign up for that new account, use promo code 1620. And same-game parlays are very simple. It allows you the ability to both parlay the result of the game with a prop inside of that same game. For example, I like the Bengals this weekend. I just saw Zach Taylor say there's an edge to this team where we're not an underdog to anybody. Now, Vegas says they're a 5-point underdog. That's what FanDuel says. So give me the Bengals and Jamar Chase to go over 86.5 yards. You can do that, and that same game parlay pays out plus 243. That's $243, for example, for a $100 bet. That same game parlay is available on the FanDuel Sportsbook.
I got a same game parlay for you, John, and I'm going to look at the first game of the entire weekend. I like the Chiefs to win. I like the Chiefs to cover the 8.5 versus Jacksonville, so we'll throw that in there. Who's Patrick Mahomes going to throw to? Well, of course, Travis Kelce. So we'll toss that in there. Let's make it a 3-legger. Mahomes uses the legs like Dak Prescott did on Monday. Anytime touchdown for Mahomes, that would be plus 950 too. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, put in that promo code 1620, see for yourself why it is America's #1 sportsbook, and if you already have FanDuel, you can start building that no-sweat same-game parlay today. Maybe you like mine, maybe you like John's, maybe you got one of your own. Just be sure to use our promo code 1620. 21 plus and present in Iowa, 3+ legs, minimum $1 bet required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max bonus $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Previously on the crossover.
Why is Chad on? Where is one shining moment? I don't want this piece of crap. They just went to Chad.
They might have snuck in some Chad before one shining moment.
I think they did. And I was enraged because I'm waiting for one shining moment, and yet I'm exposed to Chad.
Mornings on 1620 The Zone, the Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike Conduct, 6A to 6P, 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Winter storm warnings will remain in effect until 6 o'clock Thursday morning. Heavy wet snow will be a part of the forecast throughout your Wednesday afternoon and evening. Snowfall rates could top as high as 1 inch to 2 inches per hour. Lighter snow possible throughout the overnight before tapering off by daybreak Thursday. 6 to 10 inches of snow possible for the Omaha Metro. I'm meteorologist Anthony Copeland for KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Time-Saving Traffic Center, things starting to move a little bit more smoothly around the metro area. Just a couple accidents to report still. We have one on I-80 West at exit number 449, aka 72nd Street, along with I-29 North being closed at exit 42 due to an accident that is blocking the road. Along with that, we are seeing slowdowns from 90th Street all the way to downtown on Dodge, going both east and west, along with slowdowns along Center Street from 108th all the way to 42nd Street. Remember to keep those seatbelts buckled. I'm Dan Campanen.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
What does Saul's loan on? Almost everything, like tools, instruments, designer handbags, construction equipment, vehicles, trailers, appliances. $10 to $50,000 super fast and easy with no credit check. Saul's loans on almost everything.
Duck Defense Midwest makes your home healthier and improves the life of your HVAC system. So improve the health of your home and everyone in it. Go to cleanairradio.com for a special duct cleaning offer for Zone listeners. That's cleanairradio.com.
Many people go back to the dealership out of habit or because they think the dealer is the only one who knows how to fix their car. At Omaha Car Care, we offer a better option. We have ASE certified technicians, the technology to service any vehicle, and free loaner cars. The dealer will sell you a package of services. We'll provide the service you want for your car as your trusted partner. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. Well, it still doesn't fit. Well, you could try to sit on it or get it right the first time with eBay Motors Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride.
Creighton Sports Update.
Creighton basketball is here, and this is a season you won't want to miss. Affordable tickets for the whole family start as low as $10. Get your tickets online at gocreighton.com/tickets and cheer on your Blue Jays all season long. That's gocreighton.com/tickets. And that's your Creighton Sports Update.
1620 The Zone proudly supports Creighton Athletics.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/radio. That's forhims.com/radio for your free online visit. forhims.com/radio.
Sean Callahan breaks down signing day and all the recent additions to the Husker staff and roster this Thursday at Holy Ghost Church on 52nd and Q. Doors open at 5, program starts at 7, and it's only $10 for adults and $5 for children. Sponsored by Husker Hounds and Mama's Pizza.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees. This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct,
Where your mindset is.
and your ball. The 16-20. The Zone.
Our NFL hot take market coming up. But we said we had a couple of videos for you today. First off, last night, Kansas State upset Kansas in college basketball, 83-82 in overtime. Great finish. We got a chance to see about the last minute and a half of it on the bus as we were driving back to the airport.
The defense on that last possession, especially, man, was just such a good job by Kansas State.
Excellent job. Really exciting college basketball game. K-State's now 16-2. So too is Kansas. A couple of weeks ago, K-State went down to Austin, Texas, and whooped up on the Longhorns. And after the game, head coach Jerome Tang was asked about, hey, you beat Texas, scored 100. I can't remember what the KSU score was, but it was in the hundreds. Both teams were in the hundreds. It was one of the highest scoring regulation college basketball games in Big 12 history.
Yeah.
And Jerome Tang, first thing out of his mouth was, well, I'm more concerned about the defense, which is like the lottery winner complaining that he has to pay the taxes, right? So we kind of ripped him for it. Well, Jerome went in completely the total opposite direction last night. Of course, after a big upset, you beat an in-state rival. What happens? Riots. That's right. People running onto the floor. Getting in the way.
It's called celebration, John. Being happy. You remember happiness in that dark soul of yours. You remember the old days when you were happy about things.
Rams won the Super Bowl yesterday. I did not run out onto anyone else's floor.
They won the Super Bowl yesterday?
Oh, the Super Bowl
last year.
Already?
They won the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't run out onto anyone else's property. I didn't vandalize any property.
You could have. It would have been understood.
I could have. That would have been illegal. I would have been arrested. But
Also,
somehow, if you're in the confines of a stadium or an arena, it's perfectly
allowed.
legit.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there was a court storming last night. Watch what Jerome Tang, he jumps up on the scorer's table and grabs the PA mic.
When you do it out of a motive of love and joy and passion. Now I told y'all, we'll get you one court storming. From here on out, expect to win.
Man, John, okay, I got a lot to say about that video. First of all, we talked so much about Matt Rule and how he sounds like a preacher. Good Lord, the last no pun intended, the last half of that clip, like when he started talking again after the chant, it sounded like something that I heard in church service a lot growing up. Second of all, I do not remember ever seeing anything like that.
Where a coach,
I thought that was cool.
I've seen players jump up there, but I've never seen a coach jump
and he
up there.
grabs the mic.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen anything like that. I'm sure that there are some people who don't like it. I think that that's pretty cool to see. And if I was a player on that team, I'd want to run through a brick wall.
Well, I'll tell you, the thing I liked about it was at the end, because I saw some folks out there, I think they may have been just disgruntled Kansas fans who were like, you guys are ranked too. Why are you storming the court if it's a ranked team? Well, of course, you know, that's an ultimate sign of respect to Kansas. Anytime you beat Kansas, it's worthy of a big celebration. But then at the end, when Jerome Tang said, I told you you'd get one court
One,
storming.
yeah.
Now expect to win.
That's pretty good.
And I like that.
That's a good line,
he's,
man.
So he's both inciting the riot and trying to quell future riots at the same time. But great win last night. Good on you, Coach. Excellent job.
All right.
Speaking of coaches freaking out and spazzing out. Now, I haven't seen this yet. So
Yeah, Nick,
I
I have the dumb button ready because I can't remember if there's any curse words in this. So just make sure you're good to go.
Okay.
All right. So there might be language in this. Great.
I don't think there is.
Josh is supporting riots and he's supporting foul language on our radio.
Sorry, everybody.
So this is Tim Brewster.
Yep.
New assistant coach for Coach Prime.
Uh-huh.
And Colorado in front of, I guess this is one of the
This
first
is a team meeting. Yeah, it's a team meeting.
Team meeting in the meeting room.
When I say stand tall, okay, I want you bouncing out of your seat and stand tall. When I say stand tall, get your ass up. Stand tall. Sit your ass back down. Stand tall. We coming. We coming. Raise the goddamn roof. Raise the roof. We coming. We coming. We coming. We coming. If them Colorado buses show up, and 60 minutes of hell coming with it. 60 minutes of hell coming with it. The time is now, man. The time is now. Sit down.
So that was Brewster.
Okay.
Yep. That was my reaction too. A little try hard for my taste.
How much? I mean, you can even see it in the video. And for those of you who weren't able to see it on the video stream, you can see the boom mics in there. Everything behind the scenes is being filmed.
Yep.
I'm not doubting. Listen, big fan of Coach Prime. Love that he's doing it at Colorado. Love the fact that we're counting down until November or September the 9th. I love it all. I like the fact that he's in the college game. He's not sticking in the South. He's going up to a school that really needs the help. And we're going to see just how good of a coach he is. And I think he can be successful there. With prime time comes show. Comes a little splash and dash, right? Comes a little styling and profiling. But sometimes you wonder how much of it is more show than actual substance.
Okay, so you mentioned the boom mics. That was the first thing I noticed when I watched it. The other thing I noticed was like the smile on the players' faces of like so this is a weird story. I remember like late in like it says I'm a kid and I'm getting like punished and for something, and I just kind of like laughed at my dad for like the punishment, and it's like I don't know, man. I just didn't totally buy the players. I didn't totally buy the players like being like thinking that was like a hard move, like stand up, sit down, stand up, sit. I don't know, man. They just looked like they thought like this is weird. This is kind of goofy. I'm with you. It just you wonder if people are going to be able to take it seriously, inside of that program.
Listen, at the end of the day, as long as the players take it seriously and as long as they are actually having success, then fine. That this is what they're going to do. And listen, they did this at Jackson State, right? Now that's a smaller level.
Yep.
That's a level where it's not as fiercely competitive. It's a long way up from where Colorado has been in a conference that is perceived to be now a step back from the SEC and the Big Ten. It's a tall task. There's a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not saying they won't be successful, but I'm going to take in some of this stuff that we see from them. And by the way, it's stuff that they want us.
They put it out themselves.
Yeah. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take this with as much a grain of salt as, the hype videos that we get from Nebraska in August.
Yeah.
Showing 1 minute of clips from spring practice. And people going, oh boy, Omar Manning caught a pass. He's going to have 1,000 yards this season. Again, they're showing you.
Yeah, show it on the field.
What they want you to see and get you excited for the season. And if it works, great. But at the end of the day, is it going to win you any games? No. It's going to be the work they actually do when the cameras are off.
Well, maybe they won't be, though.
Well,
maybe the cameras will never be off.
And if that's the case, then I guess they're going to be giving away all their inside secrets.
Jordan says, just needed a Missouri video and we'd have the trifecta. And then Dave says, transfer portal, we coming.
All right, coming up next, speaking of we coming, the NFL Hot Take Market.
Ooh.
We coming on 1620 The Zone.
The divisional round of the NFL playoffs kicks off with a Saturday doubleheader. Hi, this is Scott Graham. Join me and the rest of our Westwood One crew for all the action. First, the Jacksonville Jaguars take on Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Then, it's an NFC East battle between the Giants and Eagles in Philly. Coverage begins at 4 p.m. Eastern. From the wild card round all the way to Super Bowl 57 in Arizona, the NFL playoffs are right here.
If it's the NFL, it's on 1620 The Zone.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk, the facts about Orgovix.
Orgovix Relagolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact, Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovix can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovix treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovix may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovix. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
By now, you know that sound. It's the sound of the Home Depot. But what about those sounds? Those are the sounds of an LG wash tower with ultra-large capacity, serving up a powerful yet gentle clean in just 29 minutes. Making this the sound of savings on the best appliance brands. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. Get up to 25% off the LG wash tower with ultra-large capacity and reduced wash time. Pricing valid January 5th through January 25th, 2023. Gas dryer extra. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Omaha Maverick basketball is in the middle of conference play and scheduled to make a run this season. Come see all the action at Baxter Arena as your Omaha Mavericks try to rise to the top of the Summit League. Let's pack the Baxter. Get your Omaha Maverick men's and women's basketball single game tickets for all upcoming Summit League action at the Baxter Arena box office by calling 402-554-MAVS or at omavs.com/tigs.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Join up, join in. It's time to make good on those New Year's fitness resolutions by becoming a member at Croc Center Omaha. There you'll find a full range of fitness activities, from free weights to Zumba classes to an indoor track, pickleball, and more. And now and save.
Let the dogs out.
Also get 1 month free with an annual paid in full or auto pay membership. The Croc Center is just moments away from the Kennedy Freeway and Q Street.
Damn.
OmahaCroc.org
for dogs out.
That's OmahaKROC.org.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring. Starting wage is up to $20.10 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/career. Again, apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
1620 The Zone at 1620thezone.com. 1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
It's time to go to the hot take market. I'm going to start with my hot take I can be talked into.
Okay.
Talked into. The winner, the winner, air quotes, of the Sean Payton sweepstakes will be the team that hires him. Or I should say the loser. Boy, I'm getting this all wrong.
Wait, so what's going on here?
The hot take that I am totally confused. I had it written down. I had it right the first time. The loser of the Sean Payton sweepstakes
will be the winner.
Team that hires him.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
Well, here, before you get into your spiel, let me say what I have here. Sean Payton 2.0 will be closer to Joe Gibbs and Jimmy Johnson 2.0 than it will be, the first time that he was a head coach. Because I think we agree exactly on this one.
Payton will go down in Saints lore as the greatest coach of all time, which is like saying that, that Popeyes is the best fried chicken on Tom Hanks's island when it's the only chicken on the island.
Here we
right?
go. Wow.
Yeah. The man had Drew Brees for his entire run in New Orleans.
Yep.
He hasn't rebuilt something from scratch in 20 years. In the last few years, with Brees playing really, really good football, like MVP level football, the Saints never got back to another Super Bowl. Now, the San Diego, the LA Chargers situation was probably the best one he could walk into with a ready-made franchise level quarterback and, pretty good pieces around him, but it doesn't look like they're going to make the move on Brandon Staley. So is he really going to be able to do it and replenish the same magic? Denver, I mean, that's a situation that's totally in flux. Who knows about Russell Wilson? Carolina, that's a rebuild. Colts, that's a rebuild. Yeah, it's hard to run it back the second time. And you brought up Joe Gibbs. Great example. Joe Gibbs was a legendary coach in Washington.
Yep.
Then he left for a few years, came back, and he was just okay.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't Super Bowl level Joe Gibbs, which is what someone's going to expect if they hire Sean Payton.
Yep. I just expanding on it because I guess that's crazy that we're in lockstep and we had the exact same guy. Joe Gibbs. Now, it was 12 years after his first appearance in Washington, but still, they had 2 playoff appearances, I believe in 4 seasons, only 1 win. Now, Jimmy Johnson, maybe that's a better corollary because he hadn't been out of the game that long, but of course, all that success in Dallas goes to Miami. In 4 years, they made the playoffs 3 times, but they only had 2 wins total and no appearances in the AFC Championship game. Sean Payton, look, other people have said this, and I've agreed for years. He is Mike McCarthy, but with better PR. He has a Super Bowl. He has a Hall of Fame quarterback, but he has some super perplexing, dumbfounding playoff losses. I think what you said is really kind of where I begin this take with, and that's the Los Angeles situation. If that would have been the job that he ended up with, I wouldn't have this opinion that I could be talked into because I do think that he is still a good coach. But if you would have put him with Herbert, I think all bets would have been off. But I mean, okay, so what are we talking about here? Denver and that odd quarterback situation? I don't really feel good about that. And then it's like, John, it's a lot of franchises that are going to have to draft a quarterback. And I like Bryce Young, but he's no sure thing. CJ Stroud, he's no sure thing. So I don't know, man. His run is littered. Just go look at his run. It is littered with some of the weirdest playoff losses, home and road, that any, highly sought after coach has had in my lifetime. So yeah, we are in lockstep on this take that we could be talked into.
All right, this one you're gonna hate.
Oh, here we go.
Settle down, Cowboy lovers. I'm not necessarily talking to you, Josh, but I'm talking to the scribes. I'm talking about the talking heads, everyone who's now looking at the Tampa Bay game on Sunday or Monday and saying, oh, my God, this is the prince that was promised. This is the team that's going to stop. Tampa and Seattle were the two worst teams in the playoffs. Dallas beat a wounded team. And remember, Dallas was favored. Yes, everything worked. Dak didn't act.
Dak was awesome on Monday, John.
He was good, but I'll get to that in a second.
He was good.
This is still the same Cowboy team that limped to the finish line. They should have lost to Houston, and the only impressive win was a shootout over a Philadelphia team that didn't have Jalen Hurts. Now, Sunday, that's going to be like going from introduction to science to nuclear fission 401 when you're playing San Francisco. I'm not saying Dallas can't win, but it's going to take that same level of effort plus Frisco making mistakes if they're going to make it happen. This is why they're called America's scheme. It's like when Bernie Madoff shows you, hey, look, we made a profit. And so what do? You pour more money into his pyramid scheme. Next thing you know, the Mets are getting sold. You're giving Bobby Bonilla a lifetime contract, and everything's falling apart. So just pump the brakes here. It was a good game. One thing I did notice about Dak, not taking away from his performance,
but
that ball was really like fluttering. Did you notice that?
You thought so? Oh, I thought he was zipping it around on Monday.
No, there were a lot of passes that it kind of looked a little Peyton Manning late in his career-ish.
Interesting.
And
I thought they were zipping.
I still
If
wonder
his
if
thumb-
maybe that thumb is bothering him a little bit. I'm not saying that that's going to necessarily do him in. It's decision-making more than anything else that's done him in the games he's given away the football. But, yeah, if Dallas can put together that same level of effort and especially get the pressure that they got.
Oh, God, yes.
Now, that's the other difference, too. Is San Francisco, they're going to run the ball, right? They're going to do it better
the Bucs did not want to run the ball.
than Tampa Bay. But, man, I saw some of the talking heads. They were just
so wait, what is this hot take? I'm confused as you.
The hot take is settle down. Dallas isn't going to the Super Bowl.
You just wanted to rant about the Cowboys. That's not even a hot take. You just wanted to bitch about Dallas. Hot take that I believe. Brock Purdy is on his way towards the best rookie season of all time, period. And I would say, John, it's not even close. When you take into account what he has done just as an individual player, like this, and I know that the weird part about this, of course, is he didn't start the whole season, right? So he's not going to win Rookie of the Year, though he is going to receive votes, which is crazy when you consider what week he began his starting career in and what he has done since then. But if you just looked at him as an individual, he would rank very high on the scale of rookie performances of all time. Then you add just separately the team component, him being a part of a winning franchise that is in the divisional round and is favored to go to the NFC Championship game. But when you combine those together, it separates this from like really good rookie quarterback seasons. You know, like I remember Ben Roethlisberger, great rookie season, for Pittsburgh. They went 15-1. They made it to the AFC Championship game, but he wasn't what he would eventually become. He wasn't the Hall of Fame player. They had a really good run game and a really good defense. San Francisco is not winning in spite of him, like I think the Steelers did at some points during that 2004 season. They are winning at times because of him, though I wouldn't say entirely, but I think when you combine all of that stuff together, this is the best rookie season of all time, especially if, they keep winning and they go on to the Super Bowl.
You're just trying to soften him up, aren't you?
I mean, hey, if he's listening right now and I'm getting in his head,
soften him up.
Brock, you are the best quarterback that I've seen in my entire life. You are perfection on the football field.
Your passes don't wobble like lame ducks like Dak's do.
I don't remember. I need to see some of these.
Oh, yeah, there were a few.
Man, that was a fun game, John. That was a fun game.
Yeah, it was a fun game, too, for Brett Maher. Stat of the day from Rob Anderson at Creighton. So yesterday, Creighton only missed one free throw, and Butler only missed one free throw. Meanwhile, Dallas missed 4 one-pointers on Monday night.
People always say John hates Nebraska, and I try to tell them, he does not hate Nebraska. He has a degree
Has
from
that nothing to do with Nebraska? He's Dallas's kicker now. He's their problem. He's their problem.
Hating Nebraska players. Very sad.
He ain't a Nebraska player. He's a Dallas player.
In the NFL. Brett Maher.
That honestly was the only. I was actually rooting for Dallas to score more because I just wanted to see him kick again.
God.
And then ESPN blew the
I know.
PAT that he made.
They
It's like
totally-
that was the story. The story wasn't how Dallas scored again. They were going to win the game anyway.
Yeah,
The
it
story
was the extra point.
Are they going to run him out there again? Which, by the way, tip of the cap to Mike McCarthy. That was the smart play.
Yeah, to get him some confidence.
Get
To
him
at
some
least try.
confidence.
Now,
they
if he
did
would have
it-
missed it, we would
Yeah,
have been like,
well.
good Lord, what are you doing there, Mike?
Now, apparently, they did bring in another kicker to compete
I saw
for the
that, yeah.
kicking job. I didn't hear who. but-
He's on. They're bringing in a player for the practice squad is how they're framing it. So, you know,
bring it into the
friend of
practice
John
squad.
Bishop, a.k.a. John's Burner on YouTube, says, preach, John, preach. Go Niners. Wow, John, I can't believe you're a Niners fan. Gross.
Just abandoning your Rams like that.
I'm not abandoning anyone.
But the other California team, big California guy, John.
Oh, big lib man.
That's right.
Jordan says, typical
California's
big city.
California's got the In-N-Out burger first. So
Nice. Jordan says, typical big city John hating on the kid from small town Kearney. Yeah, what's up with you hating a Western Nebraskan like Brett Maher?
Not hating, just pointing out a fact.
El
all.
Scorcho says, excellent take. Sean Payton is so overrated. Yeah, he's Mike McCarthy with good PR. That's what he is.
It's a really good point.
He's a good coach, but he's just, they talk about him, you know, like you're getting, you know, I don't even know who's the equivalent. You know, if like Sean McVay suddenly was on the open block, like, Sean McVay, I think he is that guy. I don't think Sean Payton is that guy. That said, he could still win.
All right, coming up, it's time for Dumb Debates.
Oh, baby.
Dumb Debates. And let's see. We got I got a basketball one I've been waiting to get to.
I have one that I think it was tweeted from a friend of the program in the local media that I almost wonder if it was directed at you. And so I'm going to it's not even a Dumb Debates question, it was more of a statement, and then I'll see what you think about it.
And I also came up with one today as I was doing laundry.
Oh, laundry boy.
So we'll get to all of those coming up next. It is Dumb Debates next on Unsportsmanlike Conduct in 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the time-saving traffic center, things moving smoothly once again around the Omaha Metro. Just some minor slowdowns in between 90th and 72nd on Dodge going both east and west. We also have some slowdowns from 192nd to 168th Street on West Center Road, and a slowdown from 108th to 72nd on Center Street. Remember to keep those seatbelts buckled. I'm Dan Campanen.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Fernando's Omaha.
Thank you, Omaha. It's triple first-place wins for Fernando's. Fernando's is honored and grateful to you for voting them the best Mexican restaurant in the Best of Omaha and Omaha Choice Awards and Best Margarita in the Omaha Choice Awards. Fernando's, family-owned and community-served.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket, pushing a wet, heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer Wet Jet. With Swiffer Wet Jet, you start with a fresh pad and cleaning solution every time. And when you're done, you just toss the pad. Swiffer Wet Jet, the faster, easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Give your business a whole host of options with Host Coffee. The most impressive selection of office coffee, water options, healthy food options, and vending technologies. Host Coffee, serving you since 72. Be a part of the Host Coffee team today. If you'd like to work for a trusted and loyal family-owned company that understands the needs of working families, Host Coffee has your opportunity. Apply at hostcoffee.net.
The Creighton women's basketball team welcomes in the Villanova Wildcats at DJ Sokol Arena Friday night. Hear all the action on 1180 The Zone with Jake Eisenberg and Rob Sims. It's Creighton women's basketball versus Villanova Friday at 8 on 1180 The Zone.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Here's this week's Maverick Minute. The Omaha Mavericks erupted for 4 goals in the final minutes of Saturday's series finale with Minnesota Duluth to secure a weekend sweep of the Bulldogs. The Mavs will close out their current 6-game homestand next weekend when they welcome the Miami Redhawks to Baxter Arena Friday and Saturday night. And that's your Maverick Minute on your home for the Mavs. News Talk 1290, 1180 The Zone, and 1620 The Zone.
Need a side hustle or career change? Now you can get certified to repair mobile devices in just 1 week. At the Metropolitan Community College Mobile Device Repair Academy, you can earn a national certification at our 1-week boot camp. Learn the skills you need to become certified and apply them during a 2-month internship. You may be eligible for special tuition funding. Classes start soon and space is limited. For more information or to enroll, visit mccneb.edu/mobile repair.
Sean Callahan breaks down signing day and all the recent additions to the Husker staff and roster this Thursday at Holy Ghost Church on 52nd and Q. Doors open at 5, program starts at 7, and it's only $10 for adults and $5 for children. Sponsored by Husker Hounds and Mama's Pizza.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
It'd be nice to have a pro
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
Throw.
from your mom.
Listen or some not to, we did anyway, dumb debating.
John's computer sucks, Macs are the only way, dumb debating.
Fullbacks are running backs, hamburger steaks.
Josh is too dumb to eat a cupcake.
Mayo in a base.
Does John like Nebraska or Creighton?
Just 3 radio hosts on air, dumb debating. Die for the pylon or give up on the play, dumb debating.
Millennials are great and old should go away, dumb debating.
Rarely do we find any common ground.
Josh wants his food to be the best around.
Even if it gives him fatal flagellation. Just 3 radio hosts on air, dumb debating.
When a tree falls down and nobody's around, you can bet your ass it won't make a sound. Water ain't wet, you know nothing about hydration. Just 3 radio hosts on air, dumb debating. Just 3 radio hosts on air, dumb debating.
Well, we started the program today with Poop Storm 23, which we later decided that makes it sound like it's the 23rd Poop Storm.
Winter Storm Iggy.
So it's the 2023 Poop Storm, which is a lot better than Winter Storm Iggy.
Iggy is stupid.
Here's a live look at our weather radar. Yeah, this is how we do our weather here.
Oh, awesome.
There's Lincoln. There's almost, look, it's moving out. It's moving
out. Good.
Moving out. So hopefully all will be fine. It snowed just a little bit here in Lincoln, but mostly it came down in wet and frozen, like sleet, like freezing rain.
It looks like slush outside now, is what.
Yeah,
it
the
looks
wife
like.
said she just got home. She said it's like driving on slush.
Yeah, it looks gross out. It's like raining outside of my window right now in my office. So fun.
Yeah.
I love that. Cold and rain always go together.
Oh yeah, Nick, especially when the sun is setting. This is great. Now the sun can't melt the snow. This is awesome.
Well, it's time for Dumb Debates. This is where you get to take over the program by asking us dumb debate questions. It could be on any topic. We have tackled them all, and you can send them in anytime. If it just pops in your head, just remember, use the hashtag Dumb Debate. Send it to us. J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed at USC1620, or you can email the Equitable Bank inbox, John at 1620thezone.com or Josh at 1620thezone.com. And before we commence Dumb Debates, it's always nice just to remember that we love you.
Oh, yeah.
The people. Thank you to the friends of the program. You are what make us go. Thank you, and we love you.
You rule. Pun intended.
It's always nice, John, when you wake up and you're hoping to get good news, and then the news is so great that you're like, you know what? I have this special beverage that I've been saving for when good news arrives. I think I'm going to have one of those beverages tonight. So thanks to the friend of the Grum, I'll be having a delicious beverage later on this evening.
So with that, we start Dumb Debates, and I was inspired by this one as I was putting clothes away today, and I noticed as I was making the bed, Wrigley sleeps in the bed with us. Wrigley sheds a lot. There's hair everywhere, and there's like hair everywhere.
Every hair.
And I thought to myself, how bad would it be if I were allergic to dog hair?
Very.
It'd be the
Not
worst.
great.
Yeah, it'd be bad because you wouldn't be able to have dogs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What ailment, and this is like a non-fatal, non-handicap type ailment, would it be worst for you personally to have?
Well, I mean, I guess this is the easy answer, but given what you just said, if I was allergic to dogs, I wouldn't have Banks, and that would make me very sad. And I love dogs, and I want to get, dogs. I'd like to have a pet, basically as long as I live. So that would be a bummer. I think here's a non-dog related one. A peanut allergy is such a bummer because
That's
love
my answer.
I love peanut butter. I love Reese's. Peanuts are in a lot of things. So I would say that one, food related, that would suck.
And you're always kind of worried that, one time you slip up and then you're going into anaphylactic shock and, and then bad things can happen if you don't have your EpiPen with you.
Yeah. So I think that one might be my choice. But dog allergy would stink.
My grandma had celiac, gluten allergy.
Yep,
and
that would suck.
That's a thing that I could get. And I mean, she made it work. She had all these gluten-free cookbooks, but this was before it was a trend. So having to go out of your way, she would have to make her own noodles.
Yeah, it is tough.
Yeah.
That is tough.
It's a rough one.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good times.
No.
That'd be bad times.
Alex writes.
Hello, Alex.
This was from the Equitable Bank inbox. John at 1620thezone.com or Josh at 1620thezone.com. Saw it on TikTok the other day. There's a professional basketball league in North Korea. That's the bad Korea, folks.
Yes.
They have different rules than the basketball played here in the States. Here are a few examples. Slam dunks are worth 3 points. 3-point shots are 4 points if the ball doesn't touch the rim. There's a point deducted for every missed free throw.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
And any field goal made in the last 3 seconds of a game is 8 points.
Oh my goodness.
My question is this. If you had to adopt one of these rules to American basketball, which one would you choose? So again, slam dunks are worth 3.
Don't like
3-point shots are worth 4 if it doesn't touch the rim.
No.
1 point deducted for every missed free throw. Any field goal made in the last 3 seconds of a game is 8 points.
I like the free throw missed one because I think that the other ones are like too weird for me, but I think missed free throws because they could sell it like they're free, John. You got to make them. So I like the free throw one.
I like the field goal one because I feel like it would encourage the craziest stuff in the last few seconds of a game.
It would definitely cause for some backdoor covers. My God, can you imagine?
Now, okay, in all seriousness, we've had this debate before. Everyone knows where we stand on this issue. I hate the NBA advance on a timeout rule. If you had any field goal in the last 3 seconds given 8 points, you would have to get rid
You'd
of that
have to,
rule.
yeah, you'd have to go to the college basketball rule where you can't.
You would have to get rid of that rule. So for that alone, I would put that rule in the NBA just so they made them get rid of that stupid timeout advance.
So you're in on that one?
Only in that circumstance. But here now, let's talk this out for a second.
Okay.
The number two, the 3-point shots or 4 points if the ball doesn't touch the rim. That's the problem with that one is
review. That'd be horrible.
You're going to have some people say, no, that thing had to touch the rim. And so it's going to go back to review. How do you know for sure that ball didn't graze the rim? Sure, most of the time you can tell. But you're talking about fractions of an inch already where we're having a hard enough time just deciphering who last touched the basketball. I was watching the end of the Purdue Michigan State game on Martin Luther King Day. And it took them like 4 minutes. And then I don't even know how it eventually ended up because we were just taking off. And so the feed went out. But they're like looking to see, okay, did it touch that guy's finger? Did it touch that guy's finger? Can you imagine what that'd be like reviewing a shot on the rim? Slam dunks were 3 points. Now that one could be interesting, right? Because what has basketball turned into?
3-point shooting.
Into a game at the rim or a 3-point shooting contest, right?
Yep. Well, then they'd be worth the same amount of points. So the game would be more of an inside game again. I guess people would like that because it remind them of the old days. But I don't know. That seems, and I know I don't want to say like you don't have to have a lot of skill to be able to dunk, but I do think at least in the pros, it takes more skill to shoot a 3 than it does to dunk, just given the athleticism of the players.
Here's the disadvantage, though, to the one about the free throw, right? Every missed free throw is a deduction of 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
One of the arguments for the quarters concept is the foul reset, right?
Correct.
So that we're not getting, nonstop foul shooting after 7 foul shots. Can you imagine how the game would change if you were deducting a point for every free throw? The double bonus, when you get to 10, no longer would have the same, it could potentially be a disastrous effect.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Because you could lose 2 points on that. So I almost think that would encourage more fouling at the end of games.
Yeah, I guess that's a negative. And so because Hack-a-Shack would take on a whole new meaning. Because
exactly.
In the old days, you just wanted to foul Shaquille O'Neal so he could miss a free throw. Now you'd want to foul him so they could potentially subtract a couple of points. That was a fun question, though.
So, yeah, situationally, if it meant that the NBA had to get rid of the timeout advance rule, I would take any field goal made in the last 3 seconds as given 8 points. But, yeah, the others, I think there's disadvantages to all 4. That would just make basketball a very different sport.
It would change it entirely.
And really gimmick it up.
So I mentioned that there was a question that I thought was almost built in a lab about John Bishop. And I guess less of a question is more of a statement. This is from our friend Jacob Padilla. He tweeted this out last Friday night, and I've had it saved knowing that you would be back today. He says, we need to erase defending champion from the collective sports lexicon unless you're talking about boxing or whatever. You're not defending your championship. You're trying to win another one. Nothing you do this season has any bearing on last year's title. John, do we need to get rid of defending champion when discussing teams like, your Los Angeles Rams?
That sounds like a question written by someone whose team has never won a championship before.
Well, I mean, he is a Packers fan. He saw them win one Super Bowl.
That was
right?
a long time ago. It was
a long time. Are you talking about the Suns, the Phoenix Suns, maybe?
Technically, he's right. It's not like a boxing or a wrestling or a UFC belt where you are literally defending the belt, and if you lose the belt, then the other guy is the champion. But it's the term that you give to. It's a term that now has.
It's a term of endearment.
Yeah, it's acknowledging, rightfully so, that the team who won the championship last is the defending champion. So
I like it.
I mean, he's technically correct, but I disagree. I think it is perfectly legitimate to acknowledge your ruler for still 4 more weeks.
Just a few more.
The defending, reigning world champion.
All right, some questions on Twitter. Jeff asks, dishwasher is finished. Is it okay to only partially unload the clean dishes from the dishwasher and come back to do the rest of them later, or do them all at once? I'm definitely for the latter. This seems, John, like a question to settle a bet between him and his significant other. I would never unload half the dishwasher. That would seem like it would defeat the purpose. Knock it all out at one time and move on with your day. That's the purpose of unloading it, is so then you're done with it. I don't want to half-ass it, because then it's like, well, I still have it hanging over me. But I'm also someone who wants to get the dishes done as fast as I possibly can so I can relax. I would rather relax with that stuff behind me than relax knowing I still have to unload them eventually. But that's more of a
if you're doing it intentionally. Now, there might be some times where you're in the middle of it and then you have to go because something else more pressing came up. But yeah, if you're making a conscious decision, hey, it is time to empty the dishwasher. Yes, it's like mowing the lawn. You complete the task.
Yeah, exactly.
You complete the task before you move on to the next task. Unless you're running out of daylight, which has happened to me because I was trying to mow too late.
Yeah,
you had to finish the next morning.
But
with putting away the dishes, you don't have to worry about daylight, unless you're living like in a mud hut and you're doing all your dishes outside.
That's true. That's true. Jordan, by the way, says, doesn't the Stanley Cup go from team to team? NHL could still have the defending Stanley Cup champion because they hold on to the cup.
But don't they take back the cup at some point?
Yes. I don't know when, but yes. I don't think they get it like all the way through the entirety of the next playoffs.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's a symbolic thing.
Right. Yeah, it's more of a symbolic thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Travis says, if I only unloaded half the dishwasher, I would 100% forget and then load the empty half with dirty dishes and end up rewashing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sad Husker fan says it takes less than 5 minutes to unload the dishwasher. Yeah, it's not like laundry takes longer, in my opinion, to do than unloading the dishwasher. Unloading the dishwasher is a very overrated chore in terms of it being difficult or long. It can be done pretty fast, you know.
It can, but it can also be annoying when you have the weird dishes in there, the stuff that has to get put away in special,
Holiday unloading of the dishwasher sucks because you got all sorts of weird random dishes you very rarely use.
The stuff you rarely use, or you've got a lot of the measuring cups or weird things. if it's just the plates, the knives, the forks, and the bowls, and the cups. The glasses, then yeah. But if you got the funky stuff that requires, this has got to be stacked a certain way. And every time we rewash the little plastic containers for like leftovers and stuff.
Mm-hmm. They get soaked, and then you have to leave them
to dry
wet.
Out. And so what you end up doing is you take them out and you put them in the little dish drain. You have to leave them sit out and air dry.
Yes,
before you. So technically, you don't even get a chance to finish the task.
Yep.
You're just leaving them sit out there. And okay, we're waiting. Okay, now we can put them.
I hate plastic dishes that you use for leftovers because every time you're done with the dishwasher, you end up having all of those sitting on the drying rack before you eventually can put them away. That thing sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next up, Grant wants to know, and I think this one may have been directed at Nick.
Oh.
Because
is it a shower one.
Let's see, is Nick? No, it's not a shower one. Nick is wearing flannel today. Yep, he is wearing flannel today.
Flannel boy.
Grant says, would you rather wear your flannel open, no buttons, with a white t-shirt, or wear it closed? Nick?
I can go either way.
Well, if it's just a white t-shirt, though, I don't know. I don't like that.
I don't know. I had a white t-shirt flannel look.
Yeah, I don't
if
like
it's
that.
A red
look.
flannel, white t-shirt, black skinny jeans, that's what I did in college.
Yeah, I wouldn't wear that. If it's just those two options, I'd wear it closed. But if you have a design shirt under a graphic tee underneath it, I'd wear that. I'd do that.
It honestly just depends on how I'm feeling. Yesterday, I wore my flannel open. I think I wore flannel yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll wear my button-ups open and unopened sometimes.
Depends on the vibe.
Depends on my mood that day.
Yeah.
Sean, do you wear flannel?
Not anymore. I haven't had flannel shirts in a long time.
You should bring them
here's
back.
my thing. Anytime when it comes to like button-up shirts,
mm-hmm.
if I'm going to wear them, they will be buttoned. At least enough to where it's not like flopping around everywhere.
Yeah, you're not flop. You're not a shirt.
I don't like wearing the button-up shirt over a t-shirt or an undershirt, but then not having any of them buttoned, because then you're walking around, you're moving the flaps, it can get caught in stuff. At least button a couple of the bottom ones, so that it's like together. you can still be open up top, but
Party up top.
Yeah, party up top, business and
down below by your business.
I've got a couple Hawaiian shirts that are like the silky kind, and it does feel weird to button those up. I feel like those need to kind of flow.
Hell yeah, like you're at the beach.
Yeah.
Jordan wants to know, Nick, by the way, why does your shirt underneath have buttons? Why not just a plain white tee? Yeah, did you notice that Nick has buttons underneath his buttons?
Yeah.
Is that what do they call those? Henley? Yeah,
Henley. It's a Henley. It's my favorite kind of shirt.
A Handley? No, a Henley.
A Henley.
But it's also
Henley.
thermal, and I wore it because I didn't know what to expect today.
A Nick Henley.
Yeah, because he thought he was gonna be riding in a car with our boss.
Uh-huh. And it seems like, Nick, be safe when you drive home. John, do you know who George Santos is?
Yeah, he's the politician from New York who basically faked his life story. No one caught it until after he was elected.
So I want to read a tweet from today before I get to the dumb debates question. It says, first, George Santos falsely claimed his mother died in the 9/11 attacks. Then he walked it back and said she was in the South Tower during the attack, but died from the ash cloud 15 years later. Documents now show she wasn't even in New York on 9/11. So yeah, as you said, this guy just lies about everything. So here's the question from Mustache Adam. If you were going to have a George Santos level falsehood about your history you wanted out in public and would vehemently deny it being false until your dying day, what would it be? So here's the thing.
I have no idea.
So isn't this question almost like, what lie do you want told about yourself that's kind of cool, but you deny it? Like, I that's what I'm trying to figure out, because like I definitely don't want something like his mom dying in 9/11, even though she didn't die in 9/11. Like, that's not a good one. So is this like, Josh, I don't know, what's something really cool? Nick, you're young. What do the youngs like? What's cool? I have a closet full of flannels, and I'm just like, no, I don't have a closet full of flannels.
It's a weird thing to deny.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it would be like
I saved somebody from a burning building. I saved the school.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, either that or I survived some kind of, like tragedy, like a big fire, or Josh's murder cult.
Oh,
as
and I do deny that. I do deny that every time it comes up.
Survived the Hindenburg.
Oh, wow. That's quite the take, Nick.
Yeah, but no, that's a little too far back. But yeah, if you either claiming that you saved someone from peril or you escaped peril yourself. And I think, some of the more common, tall tales involve, I was in the Battle of X in this war.
Yep.
And and so you over exaggerate your military service. Or maybe just say you had military service when you never had military
Wedding
service.
Crashers, when he's over exaggerating how he played in, Major League Baseball, and those types of things.
Yeah.
Like, I had a cup of coffee in the minor leagues back in the day.
I landed a plane.
Yeah, Nick, we all know that.
But I think you'd want to do something if you're smart. Now, apparently, this Santos character wasn't very smart. You want to do something that can't necessarily be verified on Twitter. So if you said, "Hey, I appeared in one game for the Cardinals once," that's something you can easily look up.
Yep, it's not the 50s anymore. You can't prove someone wrong.
So it's got to be, it's got to be something that it's hard to look up and it's hard to verify on the internet, which can be hard to do these days.
Yeah.
Like this one from Ian. I've been telling people I can make homemade crayons for 30 years, and I have no idea why.
That's a good one.
It's a very good one.
That is
why.
It almost sounds like, it's kind of like George Costanza. George Costanza was famous for this, making up the fact that,
not a lie if you believe it.
That he was a marine biologist, and then magically he shows up at the beach, and pretty soon there's a whale choking on a golf ball.
Classic, Nick. That's a classic
episode.
It sounds
and the way that George tells the story at the end is perfect. It
one
is
of the all-timers.
so well done.
The
It is
sea
one of the
was
best
angry that day,
episodes.
my friends.
That's right.
So good.
Like an old man returning a bowl of soup in a deli. Such a great episode.
Dave says a lie about me I wouldn't deny, and then he sends in an eggplant emoji. So, I don't know if John got it. All right, never mind. We can move on.
Yeah.
I don't think Nick got it either.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Did you get it? Okay.
Yeah. All right, great. Here's one. So we got a new follower today. The show did. And in this person's bio, it ended with that they're a roller coaster junkie. What does it mean to be a roller coaster junkie?
Well, it's probably a guy who goes out in search of going to amusement parks and then just wants to ride the roller coaster like as many times as possible.
Super into Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Does he like read articles a lot, you think? Or does he just want to go on the rides and take it in for himself? Like, is he like reading and subscribing to roller coaster magazines?
Well,
it's got a spread of just the new roller coasters.
I mean, join us in the 21st century, Josh. The kids, they live blog and they
vlog
and they TikTok their roller coaster experiences.
Roller coaster TikToks.
And they have their YouTube channel with thousands and thousands of subscribers.
What a world! What a world out there.
I mean, that would be a roller coaster enthusiast.
I guess it would. Yeah. A junkie.
Unless it's just someone who longingly just, stands outside roller coasters looking up at them, wishing that one day they could ride them. If they could
only get to 48 inches.
If they could only get to 48 inches, or, if they could ever drum up the courage to actually go on the ride.
Or maybe they're actually addicted to roller coasters and they need an intervention.
Maybe. Jordan says he has to have made his own backyard roller coaster. It's like Jim Nance. Jim Nance has that famed par 3 from Pebble Beach in his backyard. This roller coaster junkie guy has a roller coaster in his backyard. I don't hate it.
Weird.
Very.
Very, very weird.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that just get old playing the same hole over and over and over and over again?
Yes.
And at some point, you just have this giant thing that you have to maintain, and you get tired of it. And you don't even play it anymore.
But he's so rich. You think he maintains it? He pays people to maintain it for him.
Do you think he does slight alterations to it just to keep?
No, it's the hole. It's a very specific hole. There's a video of it, Nick. If you Google Jim Nance backyard, hole, you'll find it.
Okay.
Be careful though.
Yeah, backyard, Nick.
Don't Google Jen Nance's backyard hole.
And make sure yard is in the state in the search.
Sure yard.
Keep the yard there, Nick.
I'll have safe search on.
All right. Yeah, good call.
All right, that is Dumb Debates. And don't forget, you can send us your Dumb Debates anytime. Just send it to us in the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Use the hashtag Dumb Debates or email your dumb debates, John at 1620thezone.com, Josh at 1620thezone.com, or Nick at 1620thezone.com. Later this week, we're going to have tickets to see Blake Shelton and the Honky Tonk. No, the Honky Tonk Man. Honky Tonk Man. We're going to actually be giving away tickets. No, it's the Macho Man.
Oh, my bad.
But you can still buy your tickets for the concert next month at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Visit 1620thezone.com for more details.
1620 The Zone wants you to win Gary's booty. Whoa, wait, what? Win $100 or more every weekday on Mornings with Sharp and Hanley. Listen during the 6 and 8 o'clock hours for Gary and Nick to give you their stat of the day. Then during the 7 and 9 a.m. hours, listen for the cue to call, know the stat, and win a buttload of cash. Answer it correctly, and Gary's booty gets even bigger. Yep, we'll keep adding $100 to the booty bank till the correct answer's given on air. Win your share of Gary's booty on Mornings with Sharp and Hanley with 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
A winter weather advisory for tonight for the Omaha Metro. Some light snow, maybe in the 1 to 3 inch range. Temperatures will slide back into the upper 20s. Some light snow early on Thursday. Otherwise, cloudy, breezy, and chilly temperatures staying in the upper 20s. I am Chief Meteorologist Phil Ranby from KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Time Saving Traffic Center, Things are moving fairly smoothly around the Omaha Metro right now, but if you are making your way out to Gretna right now, you are going to find slowdowns on Harrison Street and Q Street along 204th going west. Along with that, we're also seeing some minor slowdowns from 72nd all the way to 90th Street on Dodge going both east and west. And we also have slowdowns on Center from 108th to 72nd Street. Remember to keep those seatbelts buckled. I'm Dan Campanen.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by IBEW Local 22.
Does great pay, fully funded medical benefits, and a solid retirement sound good to you? IBEW has immediate openings for journeyman electricians. Invest in yourself with IBEW Local 22. Call Bob at 402-980-7596.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring. Starting wage is up to $20.10 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/career. Again, apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
Hi, I'm Nolan Sullivan, senior captain for Omaha Maverick Hockey. Omaha Hockey is coming off a home sweep. We've won 5 out of the last 6 at home, and because of you, we're ranked 4th in NCAA attendance. Get your tickets for the rest of the season and help us rock the Baxter. Please help us keep this momentum going as we try to earn home ice for the NCHC playoffs.
Get your tickets by calling 402-554-MAVS or by going to omavs.com/tickets.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. That's ziprecruiter.com/radio. ziprecruiter.com/radio.
Creighton coverage on the zone is presented by Barry Law. At Barry Law, we fight alongside those who choose to fight back. Call Barry Law at 402-999-7777 or visit barrylawfirm.com. At Barry Law, we're in it to win it.
You're listening to Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
You have to actually inspect every little smidge of meat.
On 1620, The Zone.
Money Chris emails in John to the Equitable Bank inbox. Talked about playing the same hole over and over. Would that get boring? He says it's called marriage, and yes, it does get boring.
Wow. It's a little different.
It's
just a little bit different. Just shows you when some people have way too damn much money.
Yeah. By the way, Mustache Adam points out that the hole is artificial turf, not real grass. So easy.
Oh, that's even worse.
Easy to maintain. It doesn't
That's
look
even
very
worse.
Yeah, I mean, like, cool, you have a hole in your backyard, but yeah,
Oh,
it doesn't look appealing. Like, it's not pretty on the eye.
That's tacky.
Yeah.
I'm just such a big golf fan. I want to have a replica of Pebble Beach on the third.
That dude does love golf, man.
It's like, I mean, cool. I mean, I'm glad you love golf, and I've got nothing wrong if you have like a putting green or something, or in a backyard. But to replicate, I mean, that'd be like,
I want to replicate all of Wrigley Field in my backyard.
Well, that'd be an interesting look. Be very interesting. Jordan, said, does he ever change the pin locations?
Well, with artificial, probably not. He's using artificial.
Yeah,
turf.
that's true. That's true.
Strange. Very, very strange. Hey, did you see this? Did you hear about this? The Live Laugh Golf Tour has a TV home now. So your favorite golf league, Josh, you'll be able to watch now on TV outside of Facebook.com.
Where's it at? What channel is it on?
The CW.
No way. The CW?
I wish I didn't even think was still. Well, I guess it is. Yes, CW 15.
KXVO. Yeah.
Yeah, the CW.
Supernatural and the Vampire Diaries and Smallville. Live.
Interesting. And Live Golf. When I think Live Golf, I think the CW. Who are the announcers? Do we know the announcers?
Well, they already had Faraday, right?
Oh, that's right. They got David Faraday. I forgot about that.
So he's going to be there, and I'm sure they'll find, a couple of others, and they'll have, the little, whole reporters or the people that do the walk-alongs. It'll be exciting.
I don't like this.
Why?
It's annoying how people know what the Saudi Arabia is doing, but we're just kind of letting it happen. And now they get a TV deal, and it's legitimized, and they're doing all these other things. And
is anyone actually going to watch it?
I mean, here's the thing, though, John. I agree with Nick for the record. I think people will watch it. Now, will they watch it on the level of the PGA Tour? No. But, I mean, a lot of the young superstars, a lot of the young stars of golf, though, are playing in this. Now, in the end, what will the majority of people that watch golf watch? They'll watch the majors. They'll watch the Masters, a little of the U.S. Open, a little bit less of the Open Championship, and then the PGA. I mean, it's so funny how it, the majors begins with the Masters, which is easily the most, I think, accessible in terms of just raw viewership, even though not a whole lot of the tournaments actually on TV, all things considered. And then it goes down to the U.S. Open, and then it goes down to the Open Championship, and then there's the PGA Championship. So,
which is the non-major major, as we've established here.
And so you'll get viewers, but I mean, sure, it's Chase Curtod, announcer for Live, is a little green singing frog. Yeah, remember when it was the WB, it was always that frog.
Oh yeah, the little frog.
Hello, my lady. Hello, my darling. Let's go to watch the Live tour. Yeah, it'll be that. God, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I don't. That's the other problem is as we've seen when it comes to football or like the Creighton DePaul game, if you're on a big over-the-air network TV, you get more viewers.
And this is over the air. You can get it with your antenna.
It is, but it's a network where you don't watch sports.
No,
unless it's the Friday night high school game of the week here in Omaha, right? But but it's mostly like the local stuff.
Yep.
But it's not a place that you go to on a Sunday afternoon to watch live sports.
Yeah, I don't know if people flip around anymore, but if they do, this is definitely not a channel that you'd ever be like, hey, I wonder if there's any sports on the CW. These guys are, I mean, look, it's all about a paycheck. We've talked about it a million times, and they're going to get paid. But you do wonder, I guess I'll argue with myself from a couple minutes ago, you do wonder just the accessibility of this league for truly casual sports fans. I'm not sitting on my couch watching golf every single weekend. It'll be on sometimes if I have nothing else to do, and I certainly will watch the majors, but I'm not I don't go searching it out every single weekend. And if I'm not doing that, and I consider myself a golf fan to some degree, I just, I don't imagine you'll be stumbling upon it, John.
No, I no.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Don't care.
It makes sense, though. We wondered.
I watch the majors, or 3 out of the 4 majors when I can.
Yeah. If you're not doing anything.
If I'm not doing anything else, I will seek out the Masters.
Yeah.
Usually the U.S. Open, I'm busy because that's right in the middle of the College World Series. The Open Championship is nice to have because it's early morning.
Yeah, it's on in the morning.
And then even though they moved the PGA.
Oh, that's right. It's in May now.
To me, it's just it's never been a priority tournament. It's never been, but those are the ones I would watch. Everything else, I have no interest in. And the Live Tour, that's all they have.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of John Deere classics.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Except we know the backstory about it, and we know that these guys are all getting paid a boatload of money. And the lack of having I've called it before, the trophy dash sports, right? Or the bounty sports. It used to be, the better you golf, the more money you made because the winners got paid more than second place, who got paid more than third place. And now that some of that's being taken out, especially by the Live Tour, because everyone's getting this guaranteed money, what is there to really play for? Pride, yeah, sure, great, but it like I said, it's like a John Deere classic.
But I guess, and not to open a whole can of worms of a debate, but how is that any different than other sports that, like in football, you're paid your salary and you still want to compete, right? Even though you have the guaranteed money, Patrick Mahomes isn't going to make a whole lot more money for winning the Super Bowl.
But you're competing for the championship, right? You're competing for the championship. An individual tournament isn't advancing you towards an ultimate championship.
Yeah.
That would be the difference.
Okay. That's fair.
All right, coming up, we've got some content, including Josh read a story that triggered him.
Oh.
Speaking of new networks televising sports, there's another new kid on the block with a familiar name. And we haven't even mentioned Jim Harbaugh's name yet today.
That's true.
That's next on 1620 The Zone.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Kugler Vision. You know, on a day like today where you are out on the road and you are braving these elements, you need to be able to see as clearly as possible. You want to have that great vision all the time, but man, it's extra important on a day like today. I think back to when I had glasses and I'd walk outside when it was raining or snowing. I'd get in my car. What was the first thing I did? Well, I cleaned them off, and you'd have that kind of streaks across your glasses. I know that a lot of you have probably had that very issue today. Well, you can change your life in just minutes and not have to deal with those smudges, those streaks anymore. And you can do so by scheduling a consultation with Kugler Vision. You can visit their website, kuglervision.com, or you can call them at 402-558-2211. It is a new year. You deserve a new view. Do not wait any longer. Almost 5 years ago, I had my procedure done with Kugler Vision. They took great care of me. They will take great care of you. 402-558-2211 or kuglervision.com.
The divisional round of the NFL playoffs finishes with a Sunday doubleheader. Hi, this is Scott Graham. Join me and the rest of our Westwood One crew for all the action. First, Joe Burrow and the Bengals take on Josh Allen and the Bills. Then it's a classic NFC showdown when the Dallas Cowboys meet the San Francisco 49ers. Coverage begins at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. From the wild card round all the way to Super Bowl 57 in Arizona, the NFL playoffs are right here.
If it's the NFL, it's on 1620 The Zone.
Listen to the Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jay shoot-around and overtime shows. The Creighton men's basketball pregame and postgame shows on 1620 The Zone. The Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jay shoot-around and overtime shows are also presented by Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More, by Barry Law, by Union Bank and Trust, and by DJ's Dugout. Before and after each Creighton game, exclusively on your home for the Creighton Blue Jays. 1620 The Zone, 1620 The Zone mobile app, and 1620thezone.com.
Woodhouse Chevy in Missouri Valley wants to remind you that car buying should be on your schedule. That's why you can shop either in person or online at woodhousegm.com. Check out Woodhouse Chevy's entire selection of new and used vehicles either in person or online. Get honest, upfront pricing, schedule a test drive, value your trade, and complete the credit application. You can also chat with Woodhouse Chevy's knowledgeable, friendly staff. Experience the Woodhouse difference. Find new roads to Woodhouse Chevy in Missouri Valley or online at woodhousegm.com.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. Looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Nick Handley here. You know, we're really lucky to have DJ's Dugout here in Omaha. I've covered sports all over the country, and when traveling, I've often said, man, I wish there was a DJ's Dugout here. There's no better place to watch sports and gather with friends, period. Huge media walls, great food and drinks. Plus, I always know DJs will have the game I'm looking for, no matter what the game is. DJ's Dugout is locally and Vietnam veteran-owned. Dig in at the Dugout.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Give your business a whole host of options with Host Coffee. The most impressive selection of office coffee, water options, healthy food options, and vending technologies. Host Coffee, serving you since 72. Be a part of the Host Coffee team today. If you'd like to work for a trusted and loyal family-owned company that understands the needs of working families, Host Coffee has your opportunity. Apply at hostcoffee.net.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
Look, I made you some
Unsportsmanlike
unsportsmanlike content.
Unsportsmanlike content. Content that's unsportsmanlike.
Hey, quick reminder, don't forget our movie club selection this week is Bullet Train, which is on Netflix. I watched half of it before I left for Indianapolis. I'm going to watch the other half of it tonight.
All right.
Nice.
It's on Netflix. Check it out. And then we'll talk about it together with Kent Wogemont of the Lincoln Journal-Star on Friday.
And he only watched half of it because he was too busy with Creighton after last night's win in Butler, ending a 5-year losing streak in Indianapolis. John, Josh, on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your confidence level that the Jays are back? Folks.
I'm going to say 7.
7?
7. I still think at some point they're going to need to be able to hit a higher percentage of threes, but I like the approach that they have taken. They realize what teams are doing to them defensively. They're going under a lot of screens. So that the Jays made a concerted effort to get to the rim. They made it work. And defensively, that's where it's all going to come down to. How well can they play defensively? The only reason I wouldn't go higher than that are a couple of reasons. One of them has to do with the bench and the starters. It's going to be a long grind after this week is done because they've got the next 7 days off. They're off until next Wednesday. But then after that, it's going to be 2 games a week until you get to the tournament. And then it's who knows how many games. And that's going to be a lengthy grind for guys that are averaging 32, 33, 34 minutes a game.
Yeah, and so because of that, I'm actually going to be a tick lower. I'm going to go with a 6.
Negative, boy. First of all, you're taking away wins from Nebraska football, and now this.
Yep, so just going to be a slightly negative. I think that their ceiling is still high at some points. Just the inconsistency game to game and not really maybe knowing what to expect from them versus some of these opponents. I guess, John, I just want to see a little bit more from them that they can keep putting it together. But look, all it would take is a nice little run in the Big East tournament in a couple of months, and they'd be, squarely in the NCAA tournament. So let's see what happens.
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Xavier Betts is Xavier back, folks. And his bio on the Huskers.com roster page says in 2022, Xavier, quote, utilized his redshirt year, unquote. Is this a new, fun, chill way of describing retiring, resigning, and or quitting?
It absolutely is. John, you remember back when we had have Charles Davis on, he was a great regular for many, many years, and he described people that passed away as taking that final knee, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
So I always wanted to introduce that into my lexicon, and I just kind of forgot over the years. I think utilizing his redshirt year, it's a great way to describe a lot of things. Hey, you have someone who left maybe your place of employment. They came back. They utilized their redshirt year for a little bit when they decided to do so. He didn't play football entirely. He utilized his redshirt year. It's a new fun way to describe many things. Congrats to Nebraska on giving us more for our lexicon.
There are a lot of things I wanted to say. I'm just gonna
move on.
Just gonna move on. I'll just say I agree. I agree We're going to start using this from now on.
Like, remember when Michael Severe, he used his redshirt years, and then he returned to the zone.
He did. He utilized his redshirt year, and now he's utilizing more redshirt
redshirt years for Michael.
He's got COVID years now.
COVID years?
Super senior Michael Severe. Michigan co-offensive coordinator Matt Weiss is under investigation for a computer crime. The program was recently cited for multiple NCAA violations, which Jim Harbaugh lied to investigators about, thus creating a larger violation, and Harbaugh might have finally ended his flirtatious with leaving for the NFL. Are we sure this program is really on that solid of ground?
No, we're not. For a program that supposedly is the beast of the Big Ten, they certainly have their share of drama and issues behind the scenes.
Yes, they do.
And this could be part of the unraveling. And listen, this kind of stuff is going to come back to bite them. You got a coach who's under investigation. Now that you can poo-poo or say the NCAA violations are in minor infractions. But again, Harbaugh lied about them. Then we go through the continual off-season dalliance. And if you think this is over, it is not. It might be over for this year, but come next year, guess what's going to happen?
We'll be doing the
More
same
NFL
thing.
jobs are going to come open, and Harbaugh's name is going to be out there, and he's not going to do anything to quell the rumors. He's just going to continue to fan the flames. This is not going to end well for them.
Yeah, I'm with you entirely. This story about Weiss, and I don't think we have any extra information since the original report, but John, I don't know where your mind went, but when I think of computer access crimes, there's two things. Yeah, there were two crimes that I kind of thought of right away. The first one was like some sort of a hacking crime. The other one, I would say, is much, much darker.
Like there might be some things on that computer that shouldn't be there.
Pictures, some would say. So yeah, I look, and that's just a guess. So it's weird how a program this successful has now had 2 straight off seasons filled with drama. Now I'd say this is certainly the worst of the worst, or at least potentially the worst of the worst. But just an odd time for a program that has finally found success on the field. It's been anything but off.
As Georgia supplanted Alabama as the most hated program. Friend of the program, Ari Wasserman, asked that today in The Athletic. Have they?
I don't think so. I mean, they're certainly the beast of the sport, and they're the best program going right now. They've won 2 in a row, yada, yada, yada. But it takes, well, a couple of things, John. First of all, Alabama has had this sustained run of success, and so, Georgia is still in the early stages. But the other thing is, Georgia, I know they won the title back in 1980. There's still a little new money component to them. Alabama was good, when our parents were growing up, when their parents were growing up. Even when you were in college, they won a national championship. So I think the Alabama hate, it's not just because Nick Saban has been good. It's because Nick Saban has been good at Alabama. It's just like if Notre Dame got really good, they would become the most hated program because they have the history and the current success as well.
Georgia is the flavor of the month, or the flavor of the last 18 months, right? Alabama is more permanent. And all it's going to take is for Alabama to be up in the top 5 again for people to go, oh, God, I hate those guys. That's a more permanent hate. Georgia's got a little ways to go before they become that thing. Because Alabama's still there, right? It's not like Alabama's totally disappeared and
Correct.
It's now like they're, they've become the Miami Hurricanes. No, they're still the Alabama Crimson Tide. So, no, they are not. They are the flavor of the month. But they are not like chocolate and vanilla, the flavors that are always there among the 31 flavors.
Nice.
Josh.
Nick.
The Dallas Morning News had a story today titled, From Dez's Disputed Catch to Romo's Cabo Trip, the most memorable Cowboys divisional games. Would you consider those memorable?
I absolutely do not consider those memorable. That's of all the newspapers, John, in all of the world. Memorable, that's the way you describe these games? Heartbreaking, horrible, the worst things that I have endured as a fan of the Dallas Cowboys. But memorable, I'm never like, hey, Dad, remember that memorable game when Des caught it and the refs incorrectly ruled that it was an incomplete pass. This
Great
is
call,
this is a travesty, an absolute travesty.
You're remembering them, aren't you?
Yeah, they're not memorable though, John.
They're memorable.
Just because I remember it.
Memorable doesn't always have to mean positive. Memorable is still memorable.
Memorable means worth remembering or easily remembered, especially because being special or unusual. Those were not special or unusual. Dallas always loses in the playoffs.
They
were
literally
not special.
were. The positive for you, no. But Romo and the Cabo trip, yeah, that was unusual.
Triggered.
Disputed catch, very unusual. Absolutely. It does fit the description. And they were great memories for many of us.
Yeah,
Just wonderful memories. What was the Rams Cowboys one from 79? Was that in the list?
No, it was just the divisional losses since they last made an NFC Championship game.
Oh well, what a lame ass.
Yeah, I did read the stupid story.
Of course you did.
I got triggered.
Of course you did.
Last one. There's a new player in the live sports streaming game. HBO Max televised U.S. women's soccer friendly, aka a match that doesn't really mean anything, against
Nick.
New Zealand. Could HBO Max be a factor in future sports rights bidding wars?
Possibly, but they're owned by They're owned by the Warner Brothers Discovery thing, right? And they also now own the Turner Network, so they could be folded into a larger package with a TBS, a TNT type thing. But like going out and venturing out on their own to get sports rights, probably not. Though it is interesting that they chose this. Who knows? Maybe this will now. Certainly, HBO Max being their own pay-per-view provider for boxing, if they got back into that or something like that, I could see that being a thing.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think so. Mainly because we have seen HBO Max and their parent company cut a lot of costs lately, and so if they're going to get into live sports, I mean, I guess they could do some quote unquote lesser sports or less expensive sports at the very least. But if they're going, I don't think they're going to get involved in anything large just because the costs are too high.
And that is content. We'll come back with the bet of the day and wrap up the program next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
You can find pizza anywhere. But when you want pizza pie piled high with more toppings, that's when you come to my place, Godfather's Pizza. For a limited time, get your hands on 2 of my large one-topping pizzas. Pick pepperoni, beef, black olives, you choose. All this food for only $29. Feed your whole mob without breaking the bank. Hey, it's an offer you can't refuse. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit ubt.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Listen to Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jay Overtime, the Creighton men's basketball postgame show on 1620 The Zone. Live from DJ's Dugout downtown. It's right after every home game, presented by Barry Law. Exclusively on your home for the Creighton Blue Jays. 1620 The Zone.
Join up, join in. It's time to make good on those New Year's fitness resolutions by becoming a member at Croc Center Omaha. There you'll find a full range of fitness activities, from free weights to Zumba classes to an indoor track, pickleball, and more. Join now and save. We'll waive the fees, plus you'll get 1 month free with an annual paid in full or auto pay membership. The Croc Center is just moments away from the Kennedy Freeway and Q Street. Go to omahacroc.org for more information. That's omahakroc.org.
Here's this week's Maverick Minute. The Omaha Mavericks erupted for 4 goals in the final minutes of Saturday's series finale with Minnesota Duluth to secure a weekend sweep of the Bulldogs. The Mavs will close out their current 6-game homestand next weekend when they welcome the Miami Redhawks to Baxter Arena Friday and Saturday night. And that's your Maverick Minute on your home for the Mavs. News Talk 1290, 1180 The Zone, and 1620 The Zone.
Buy your next vehicle your way from anywhere with Woodhouse. Start your journey online at woodhouse.com. Easily shop all new and pre-owned inventory. Explore payment options and apply for financing. Ready to purchase? Schedule your new vehicle for pickup from the dealership or have it delivered to your driveway. Need a little extra help in determining your perfect vehicle? Our knowledgeable and local dealerships can guide you to the vehicle that best matches your needs. Experience car buying your way with Woodhouse, a trusted auto partner since 1975.
Duck Defense Midwest makes your home healthier and improves the life of your HVAC system. So improve the health of your home and everyone in it. Go to cleanairradio.com for a special duct cleaning offer for Zone listeners. That's cleanairradio.com.
This weekend, FanDuel is giving all customers a no-sweat same-game parlay during the divisional round. Now, it doesn't matter if you're new to FanDuel or already have an account. You're going to get free bets back if your NFL playoff same-game parlay, it doesn't hit. That's pretty simple. Same-game parlays let you combine all your favorite bets for a chance at a bigger payday.
You can even ride with thousands of other fans and best popular same-game parlays already made for you. If you're new to FanDuel, join now with the promo code ZONE to see for yourself why it's America's #1 sports book. And if you already have FanDuel, you can start building your no-sweat same-game parlay today. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus and present in Iowa, 3+ legs, minimum $1 bet required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max bonus $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
It's unsportsmanlike conduct.
So I can come punch you in the face.
The 1620. The Zone.
And you know why I'm laughing, don't you? Now, it's time for the unsportsmanlike conduct bet of the day.
Just a little bit under where some folks would like to see this one wind up.
Brought to you by nobody.
You gotta be kidding.
Really, we don't have a sponsor. Sorry.
All right. Yesterday, Nick had the Flyers and the Jets in hockey. The Jets lost, so he lost. I had the under in Creighton and Butler. That was a winner. John, your last bet of the day pick was the Cowboys to cover. They did, but you also had a Zeke touchdown, and he was stuck.
Garbage franchise. What an absolute trash dump fire of a franchise. Absolute garbage.
One of the best 8 teams in the NFL, and you can't take that away from me. Tonight,
I can.
The home court advantage in Lincoln, Nebraska is non-existent. Give me the Ohio State Buckeyes -6.5 points. The juice is -104.
I will let's see. I will take that same game, but I will do the total instead. Give me the under at 137.5.
All right. Is it -110?
Yes.
Okay.
We're doing hockey one more time. Give
Okay.
me the Penguins for Sir Lewis and the Lightning for Winter Storm Iggy. +206.
The Lightning.
Iowa.
The Lightning for Winter Storm Iggy.
Yeah, you know, storms, lightning. It's a thing.
Nope. Definitely not. Friend of John Bishop writes, good show, John, Josh, and Nick. 5-star. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Friend
Thank
of
you.
John Bishop, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you for listening. Thank you for watching. We appreciate
Thank
it.
all of you for listening and watching or imbibing and in whatever way you take in the program.
John, it's still AM radio. No matter how they take it in,
That's
it's
right.
still AM
It is.
radio.
It is. It's amazing how it all works. It's
KOZN.
still AM radio. Even when the 2 chairs in the studio are empty, it's still AM radio.
It's 1620 The Zone.
The Zone.
The Zone.
All right. Coming up tomorrow, we have Robbie Lula. He should be in a good mood. Will Robin Washut be in a good mood?
Well, the Giants are one of the best 8 teams in the NFL, apparently, too. So, yes, he absolutely will be.
Okay, I forgot about that part. I was thinking more about
the Nebraska basketball
game that's
part.
tipping
Yeah,
off in
yeah,
like
yeah.
4
That'll
minutes.
suck. Austin Meek, we'll talk about Jim Harbaugh. That'll be fun.
And I'm not sure if we may not do it tomorrow. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow. Maybe we'll do one of the 2 days. We do have tickets to see Blake Shelton and the Honky Tonk Man. That's the Macho Man.
Well, who's the Honky Tonk Man?
The Honky Tonk Man, he's the greatest intercontinental champion of all time.
Isn't that Macho Man?
No.
Why was he always talking about the Honky Tonk Man then?
Because he is scared of the Honky Tonk Man.
Oh, I always thought he wanted to be. He was
He's delusional. He thought he was great, but really it was the Honky Tonk Man. We're
Nacho's
going to play.
scared of nobody.
He's dead
Well,
now, Nick.
We're gonna bring back the need to get to 6 game.
Holy God!
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if we'll have time to do that tomorrow or if we'll do it Friday. We'll definitely do it one of those 2 days.
Oh, that's lovely.
If you have to be out, be careful.
Be safe, please, everybody. Nick, drive home safely. Let us tweet out when you're home. Let us know when you're home.
I'll tweet out when I'm home.
All right, perfect.
Or just sleep there in the studio because there's no shower there anyway.
That's true. Bye.